Hello there.
Tonight, we bring you this week's Flight Sim news with thanks to SayIntentions. We check out Tokyo Times from Samsung 3D, the updated TBM 850 from Black Square. iniBuilds are here with the new Leeds Bradford enhanced version and a full Microsoft Flight Sim setup guide. Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the middle of the week, the halftime show, the Midweek Shuffle. Welcome to the news. Hope your day is going well. I had a productive day. Got the man card stamped, right? Brought rubbish down to the tip. In my shorts and flip-flops. Well, me Crocs. Your man didn't really know what to say. You know, it was raining when I arrived. How are you? I have some bags of domestic waste I need to deposit here at the tip. And he kind of looked at me, you know. Yeah. Right? To €30 it cost. But anyway, then I was very busy. I mean, I was flat out, you know, doing things and stuff. But anyway, what else? Some people say, you went down a rabbit hole. So I went down a rabbit hole that turned into like a cave, right? And anyway, so there's like faster internet available, or at least according to the salesperson I spoke to, at 5 gig. Ooh. So I said, yeah, we'll have one of those, please. So they're due to come out next week. And then I said, oh gosh, you know, or words to that effect, because my entire setup here is set up for about 1 gig, maybe 2.5 if I push it, right? So that means I need more friggin' Ethernet switches. I need failover, you know, dual WAN systems, right? If you say that down the country, they don't know what you're talking about. So, yes, loads of technicalities. And, well, that's kind of where I'm at today. Oh, and our new couch bed thingy arrived. Me and the missus had to bring it up the stairs. It nearly killed both of us at the same time, equally. But it's up there now, you know. But yeah, it's very busy. Great day. Very busy. But anyway, we're here tonight, friends, because, well, there's not a lot of news in our beloved simulator. There's a bit. But what we're going to focus on tonight, well, we have some add-ons. We're going to be checking out the new Tokyo, what do they call it? Times. There we go. Tokyo Times from Samsung 3D. And that's loaded in here in the background, as is the Square TBM 850, the official 2024 compatibility mod. It's like, it's not a native 2024 aircraft. However, Nick has done some cracking work here to get it up and running. And a couple of features, a couple of bug fixes. Then we're going to check out Leeds Bradford, the brand new enhanced scenery from iniBuilds that just got released, and then a full setup guide to our beloved Microsoft Flight Sim. And it's not just a setup in terms of, you know, the sim. Stay to your face, right? Gibbo, that's if this works now. So what I had to do, right? I had to order a 10 gig switch for that PC, which I won't fit in, so I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'm going to feed a 2.5, right? A 2.5 gig and a 10 gig dual setup into the PC, and then we'll do like a failover Professor Intelligence things, right? But anyway, it's all happening now. Anyway, when it comes to the setup, when it comes to Microsoft Flight Sim, we're going to look at the Windows settings. We're going to have a look at, you know, the stores, where to put all your add-ons, then the sim settings themselves as we delve into it. But then, friends, we're going to delve into the dark arts, the evil spirits of artificial intelligence. Yes, you see, there are some things that we can ask AI to help assist us when it comes to creating, I don't know, why isn't that button working?
That's a big 10-4, good buddy.
Now buttons are working. Some of my alerts are shagged. I don't know what's happening. Steiny has pressed a button, and can I replay that? Hang on. Wait now. Don't everyone jump together. Ooh.
I put the car in swinger, baby.
There, it worked. Me buttons actually work. That's fantastic. Jesus. Right, they all go off now. Steiny, thank you very much indeed for 5 gifted tier 1 subs. The man is a legend. It's all happening now. Shuts us. And bloody hell, lads, will you calm down? It's only Wednesday. Relax the cacks. All is well in the realm. And, oh, Jesus, now, hang on a second. Me lights are weird here, aren't they? Am I missing a light? I move things around here all the time, and when my lights are red, that's what's wrong. It's red, right? But anyway, what were we saying? Yes, AI, when it comes to building some scripts, we're going to see tonight, can we code a bit of a script whereby we want one single button to press, and it's going to open up all the add-on stores that we have, right? It's going to jump in to see if there's an update available, then it's going to automatically update the gadgets for us. That's our mission. Now, we may not be able to make it fully work tonight, but we'll get the ground moving. And you might be saying, Murph, this sounds terribly, complex. Well, it is. But thankfully, our AI this thing is terribly intelligent. So we're going to try that. But wouldn't that be handy? Imagine if you had a button or like a little bat file on your, a little file on your desktop. Just double click that fella there and he'll go off and do all the work for you. Meanwhile, you sit back and, appreciate the good things in life, like tuning into a stream, perhaps. Right? But that's what we're going to try. And we'll see what happens. We could break the internet. I'm only saying we could do these sort of things. But anyway, I'd like to welcome you all in. And, I hope you had a great day. I was very busy, as I said. I was up late last night. And, it's all go, lads. It's just flat out. What was it doing as well? Yeah, great bunch of lads. Hang on, I'll play more music now because they're making terrible fun of me. Oh, look, that button isn't working. I never turn on the stuff. I'm using a new browser. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You know what I mean? But anyway, who's here, look?
That's a big 10-4, good buddy.
There's more buttons happening. You've started a level 3 hype train. A level 3 hype train, look, Jesus. CP65, good to see you. Vacuum is here. Lead Ballooner, good evening. Commander Balosh, hope you're well. Mrs. TPHI, inverted. There she is, down the front, sitting down. Upside down. Hope you're well. SoCal Jerry, good to see you. Shunty McShunface, welcome in. Biku, hello. Hope you're well, buddy. Crafty Tigers. Martel, just there's buttons everywhere. We'll just calm down. Crafty Tigers, rather. Welcome in. Who else come in the door? Malky Mac is here. Cy Murray, welcome aboard. Shunty, absolutely. Spitfire RAF 100 is there in the chat. Happy Wednesday.
Really sleepy, nighty, snooze.
Lads, he's getting out of hand now. DK Funfly, welcome in. Nightsep is in the house. Retriever Neil is here. 13 months, man. Thank you very, very much indeed, Neil. Hey, Crotty, good to see you. I see Jurassic Park scenery. Yes. Has been released. Sir Campsalot, Midude. Hope you're well, buddy. APU Inspector, happy hump day. Shuffle Shoes, shuffles in. AJH John, hope you're well. Creo, good afternoon, evening, and good morning. DCS Dux is here. Papa Justify, welcome in. Soaring AJ. Good evening. Hope you're well. Doc Nader is here. Viper Strike, hello from Chicago. You're looking well. Fierce Wolf, looking fierce. And Wolfie, welcome aboard. Hermit Something, good afternoon. From a cloudy Baston, he says. Good afternoon from Tipperary. Hope you're well. Max Stallion, 200 in a row. Mother DJ, thank you very, very much indeed. Good to see you, buddy. Nick is in the house. Greetings from Poland. Welcome aboard. Jesh, hope all is well. Sunjammer's in the house. What did Murph break today? I don't break, well I do, break many things. There's a list, a huge list. Martin Kerry Aviation is here, 36 months with a tier 1 sub. Martin, thank you very, very much indeed. And lads, over to Instagram, do a search for Kerry Aviation. You will not be, what's the word? Words I can't find, you won't be disappointed. Right? Jesus, I don't know what I was going to say there. But thank you very much indeed. Resonate is here. Good to see you, buddy. Who else? Mother AJ, there's things happening all over the shop. Level 4. Do you remember level 4 in Tala? It was a nightclub. We used to call it Sticky Floors. You know, you go and dancing. Yeah, I'm already dancing. Huh? Right. SoCal Jerry, thank you very much indeed. 5 gifted tier 1 subs. Did you see what he did? A level 4 hype train on a freaking Wednesday. Behave now, right? A bit of a rarity, says Vacuum. 5 in a row. It's great to see you. Old Veteran 965 is in the house. Good to see you, Scott. Hope you're well. Filthy. More than halfway through the working week, you better believe it. Good to see you, buddy. Stu Snape is here. Welcome aboard. Hope you're well, Stu. PH Roy, good evening. Tenured is here. Gibbo Ireland, the man of the mans. I need to work on that intro. Gibbo, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're well. Swap21, Ola. Bell Bro is in the house. Who else come in? Idle Cutoff, Cambridge calling. Hello from Tipperary, you're looking well. Mick Ham, good evening. Fornax, welcome aboard. Any cats rescued from the trees in Dublin? Huh? Stick Figure, good to see you. TG Sims is here, hope all is well. Didn't you do that yesterday? No, I do what yesterday? I only brought him to the tip today. You know, Swap21, indeed. Goblin Zeus, good evening. Jan Race, 47 months with Prime. Thank you very, very much indeed, Jan Race. Insane support. That's even longer, I'm telling you. Hello, good to see you, buddy. Lads, will you go handy with the buttons? We're running out of lighting effects. It's like a strobe party. That used to be a thing. Strobe lighting. You know, and then we'd all come home with a weird twitch. Yeah, that's right. But anyway, Photos by Kev is here. Good to see you. Malky, who's one and why do you need two? Right? Are these upgrades approved? Listen, we'll figure out when it has it, you know. Where's this now? Has the kitchen been... Would you wish... Jesus, don't be saying that. Technicalities. Yes, that's them. 5 gigs, not jealous at all. Stay at your face. Brilliant. Martel, hello. Cornwolf, hello. Mr. Dan, hello. Welcome in, lads. Then Frankenstein, also known as Steiny, also known as That Mad Lad, has gifted 5 gifted...
Going swinger, baby.
What's gotten into you lot tonight? Jesus, we're supposed to be having a nice, relaxing, easy-going kind of a setup, and yous are all going bananas. There's more things happening at a rate of knots. Steiny, Jesus! What's going on? Steiny, thank you very, very much indeed for your 5 gifted tier 1 subs. Lads, if you just got a tier 1 sub, button Murph. If you just got a tier 1 sub, thanks to Steiny, do be sure to say thank you. Consider taking a photograph showing how happy you are about this great, glorious news. Keep it family friendly. Schutz is here, good to see you. Who else came in the door? Intelligence in the stream, right? Howdy all from Southern California. Devil Fly, hello from Tipperary, you're looking well. Schutz is here for 9 months, Schutz. Jesus. Thank you very, very much indeed. Me right arm is going to be shagged. Steiny, you're an absolute legend. Fat Rat is in the house, good to see you. Who else came in the door here now? Culkin, good to see you. Gibba says, Murph is actually AI. It's really bad quality AI. I can't even get the hair colour right. Is it ginger? Is it grey? Who knows? Read between the lines, Gibbo. Right? Jesus. Right. Where's this now? Mr. Dan, you can tell it to open the apps. You can. Complex equals very dodgy. Yes, that's the sort of territory we're going. Where's this now? I think it's more skin colour of late. I'm very orange or something, haven't I? I'm not changing it now, right? Takes all day to change the skin. But yes, Northern Aviation, thank you very much indeed for your 7 months. What an absolute ledge. Cheers, bud. Up late trying to beat Murph Jr. on F1, more like. Jesus, then wasn't he handy. Martel, thank you very much indeed. 48 months at a tier 1 sub. Thank you very, very much indeed, my guy. Been up since 3 a.m. today. You're in Fuerteventura, this is Mr. Dan. Oh, Jesus, lovely. Lovely. Hammer Nails, good to see you. Where's this now? Then SoCal Jerry jumping in with 5 gifted tier 1 subs. SoCal Jerry, thank you very, very much indeed for your support. And lads, of course, if you got a tier 1 sub, thanks to SoCal Jerry. Jerry, do be sure to say thank you. Yes. I mean ears. Say ears and think. Thank you. Yes. Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. Eamon is here saying a quick hi from Rhodes. Yeah, baby. Get the sun cream on. You know, salt waters between the cheeks of your face. Go handy now, right? He cheaped on the batteries. Wait, what? Sean Dale is here. Thank you very much indeed. 36 months. Absolute legend, sir. Thank you very much indeed. Murphy does have the weekends off now. You know, every day is a day off. But it's not, though. But it is. But it's not, right? But it is. But it really isn't. Who else is here? Jesus! There's buttons gone astray. Dazza Arab then jumped in with 5 gifted tier 1 subs to the community. Dazza, you absolute mad lad, I hope you're well, and thank you very, very much indeed for your gifted subs. It changes nothing, you're still on my list of enemies. Number 1, you know, Dazza, number 1 enemy.
Oh, Jesus.
Hang on, I should have prepared for this. Hang on! I'll show you now in my little book.
That's a big 10-4, good buddy.
Hang on. Now, Dazza. You're going into me little book of enemies. Only joking. That's what I really wrote. I really like Dazza. Ah, brilliant. Ah, fantastic news. Right, continue on quick. That took way more time than it should have. Get in there now and never come back out. Right, we're over here, look. Goblin Zeus, thank you very much indeed. 56 months. Bloody hell. Thank you very much. Zybok Doc is here calling from Denmark. Hello from Tipperary. Hope you're well. Just got photos of the tops of the master bedroom or bathroom. We are getting closer to getting this done. Ooh, nice. The master bathroom, Scott. Jeez, now aren't you very well dressed up and you know, Master bathroom, right? Very good. Where's this now? Resonate, yes. Flying Tonight is here. Good to see you. That was hours ago, Murph. Wait, what? Oh, yeah. Muse Van is here. Bursting the door with his elbow saying how he is. His man jokes. His happy hump day. Good to see you, Muse. Hope you're well. The race yesterday, retired Two-Tone Jr. He's very good. Where's this now? Let me see. Rock Lobster, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're well. Energizer is here. Will Merv press the wrong button and reset his sim today? Your guess is as good as mine. The Ripper 1975. Welcome aboard, buddy. Hope you're well. Restoring 226. A 51-month Tier 1 sub. Thank you very, very much indeed. The man is a legend. So very, very generous. Bellbro, for a minute I thought you were searching for confetti. Dazza, thank you very much indeed, buddy. Sunjammer, now Squire Murph, you'll be in trouble now. Wait, what? It's not a proper dinner. Wait, what did he have for dinner? What did Muse have? I only had time to stop at McDonald's. They lost me order too. Where did they lose it? Did you get it back? What did you get at McDonald's? And don't say you got the fillet of fish or fillet of fish. If that happens, we need to you need a good baiting every day and twice on a Sunday. Jesus. Out of all the Murphs I know, I like you the best. Thanks very much, Dazza. Yeah. He's a sound fella, that lad. Sound. Where's this now? Texas One Flyboy is in the house. 40 months. Thank you very, very much indeed, buddy. Good to see you, man. Right, now, I've more buttons over here, look. This is all terribly exciting for this on a Wednesday. Kubi's in the house. Good to see you. Nutty Slack is here. Wicked Farmer, welcome aboard. Black Sheep Jean, good day to you, sir. He says, I woke up this morning and said to my wife, it's hump day. No, it's not. I have a headache. Jesus. Super Ty is here, mostly lurking. Dave Cleary, legend Dave. Welcome back, Dave. Bat is in the house. Good to see you, Bat. Vruden the Great has rumbled in from the realm. Good to see you, Vruden. Mrs. TBHI is over on YouTube. Thank you very much indeed. Heisenberg, evening, folks. What's happening in the world of flight simulation? Inquiring minds want to know. Indeed. Good to see you, Heisenberg. Steiny is there as well. Thank you very much indeed, buddy. Let me see. A rabbit hole, says Wicked Farmer. Indeed. Black Sheep Jean bought the €39 version of Jurassic World. Ooh, nice. Let me see now. We're catching up. Murph is like a T-Rex. Big legs and small hands. Right? Jimmy, good to see you, Jimmy. Steve Stavros is here. Dennis C, welcome aboard, buddy. Hope you're well. Thrustset Simulations is in the house. Then Black Sheep Jean with a $10 super chat. You absolute legend. Thank you very much indeed. Dennis C is here. I did my first flight on a professional 737 sim trainer. Much harder than Microsoft Flight Sim, says Dennis. What? And then Dennis in with the $20 donation. What an absolute ledge. Thank you very, very much indeed, lads. Reaper is here. Good to see you. I prefer the other Murph, says Dazza. Yeah, just so do I. Right. Ooh, Sim Update 4 beta just out. Yes, it is. Aaron is in the house. Good to see you, Aaron. Hope all is well. Now there's things happening at an alarming amount of rates. I don't know where I am. Where am I? And how did I get here? Tarnish Mossman. Hello. Sounds like he de-squeaked the mic. Give it a second. Rambog Mord is here. Good to see you. Are you still doing hellos? No. Hello? It's good to see you, though. Yeah, but no, we're not. Stu Snape then gifting 5 Tier 1 subs. That's a level 7 hype train. Is the movement of me looking a bit weird here? It's shaking his look. Why has that gone so strange? Wait now. 4K capture utility. Hang on now, lads. Hold on there now, and we'll have a now look at this here now. Game capture. Let's see if we can load this one in for a second. Oh, Jesus, I'm after breaking the internet. No! Wait. It'll come alive. There we are. Another Jesus. Right. What's that doing? 1080p by...
Jesus.
That says 1080p.
They've done studies, 60% of the time, it works. Every time.
I broke the thing entirely. Look, I need to change it back. This is going to break it again. Elgato 4K Pro. Let's be having you. Oh, look! No, it didn't. I thought I froze, but I didn't. I was just sitting very still. That's terribly embarrassing, isn't it? I'm there looking at my little monitor. I was like, oh no, you froze. But I didn't freeze. I was just being very still. Jesus, that's terribly sad. Anyway, Stu, thank you very much indeed for your 5 gifted Tier 1 subs. And lads, if you just got a Tier 1 sub, but thanks to Stu Snape, well, do be sure to say thank you. 19, Chris is in the house. Hello, my dude. Muse fan, yes, absolutely. SoCal Jerry subscribed at Tier 2 for 3 months in advance. Mother day, Jesus. Thank you very very much indeed, so-called Jerry. Incredible support, man. Murph is a T-Rex, that's why he wears Crocs. Yes, that works. Where's this now? B. Carlo, good to see you. It's because of the mallet head. Weirdness is not by the movement. It's grand, right? Because of his mallet head, that's going to live with me. Thank you, Chris. Yes, he shagged it. Oh, Lord, me eyes. Wait, what? Right, we're okay now. Refund, there's no refunds. Kelly Price is here, good to see you. It's a special kind of special. It is, isn't it? Wow, you know. Right, quick, let's get out of here before anyone else goes out to me. Right, lads, now, you're all very welcome in to the thing. I just need to adjust my microphone. Now, right? Massive, cool looking setup, and yet not a drop of oil in the gadget for making the thing work, right? Absolutely brilliant. My lights are going like bananas. There's like a party going on. Right, anyway, you're all very welcome in. Happy Wednesday. And yes, Magnus, hi. Have you tried the old Piper PA31 Cheyenne from Coronado and X-Plane 12? It's fabulous. Do you know, I haven't tried it, Magnus, but I must have a look at it, buddy. The squeak is real. Out here in the suburbs is out there in the suburbs. Welcome in, welcome in. Right, shall we get started? Here we are looking at a beautiful TBM 850, and we'll be checking out more of this here now in a moment, but we're going to start off this evening with the news, and we've quite a bit to cover tonight. Well, there's not really. There's a bit to cover tonight, right? Now, how do I do this without breaking the world? Hang on now. Yeah, one of those, yeah. And, what are these? Why isn't that working? You see, sometimes technology works, and then sometimes it doesn't. Why is that loading up? Get rid of this. Quit the stream deck. Yes. Right, I've quit it. We need to open this. Yes.
I put the car in swinger, baby.
There's buttons going all over the shop. Who's in charge? Oh, wait, that's working out. Brilliant. Old veteran 965 has gone absolutely bananas with 5 gifted tier 1 subs. Scott, thank you very much. A level 7 hype train, lads. Thank you very, very much indeed. Unbelievable support. Thanks a million, Scott. You're very good. Right, now, is that working? Look. Yeah, it is. Is this working? It's not getting very hot in here. No, me buttons aren't working. The thing is shagged. I need to fix up all this stuff because it used to work and now it isn't. But anyway, remind me, lads, to do that, will you? What's that, Murph? You need to fix your buttons because they're not working. So that is that what button is that? So the Ninja gadget doesn't want to work. Just remind me to fix the stuff. Someone needs to tell me later on, Murph, you need to fix that stuff. But anyway, as I said, I digress. We are going to start off here with Genuas. Are we ready? Cyrus is here. It's good to see you, buddy. Hope you're well. Right. Not too many tabs on a screen. So we're going to start off at the very beginning. And this one here, news coming from Miltech Simulations. And before we start, well, a massive shout out to Vasco over at MSFSaddons.com.
What a man does.
Vasco over at MSFSaddons.com, and to Callum and all the guys in FS Elite. That's where we have all the stuff. Murph, you need to fix some stuff. Man, Kev, I won't forget about that now. Yeah, Jesus. Hang on. I'll put a reminder in me phone. Right? Hang on. Clock. Yes? What time do we set this to? About 5 to. Now, the title is Fix Browser Stuff, you muppet. Right, it's saved. Right, we can continue on now, all as well. So, Miltech announced the UH-60 Black Hawk and shares final details on their upcoming A1H Sky Raider. Miltech Simulations become one of the most prolific developers, bringing complex military aircraft and the mission-driven tools into the sim, from the Chinook we saw, and of course the MH-60, and recently introduced the Mission Hub. The team has carved out a niche for themselves among simmers looking for high-fidelity helicopters and scenario-based gameplay. Their September development blog, it continues that trajectory with 2 particularly notable updates. The official reveal of the UH-60 Black Hawk project, a confirmation of the A1H Sky Raider is entering the final phase of development. Ooh, right? Responding to sustained community demand, Miltech have confirmed it is developing the UH-60 Black Hawk in partnership with Blackbird Simulations. The project will start with the Alpha and Lima variants, chosen to provide cockpit variety while reflecting their current continued real-world use across both military and civilian operators. Look at the state of that look. It just looks better. Steam gauge looks better. It just does. But anyway, although it shares its design heritage with the MH60, Miltech explains that the UH60 is sufficiently distinct to warrant a separate standalone release. The developer is considering a discounted upgrade path for the MH60 owners, though details remain to be finalised. The Black Hawk, tentatively planned for early 2026, making it the next major rotorcraft project for Miltech. Other S70 derivatives, such as Mike, are not included in the current roadmap. Moving on to the Sky Raider, the other centrepiece, of course, is the upcoming Sky Raider, developed with Blackbird Simulations, now approaching the finish line. Known historically for the rugged design and versatility during Korea and the Vietnam Wars, well, the Sky Raider is being recreated for both 2020 and 2024 with the following base features. It'll feature a highly detailed 3D model, a CFD flight model validated by subject matter experts. Couldn't you just say pilots? A sound set from Echo 19 based on recordings. Ooh. Full weapons functionality, including GBUs with impact craters, rockets, cannons, and the famous toilet bomb. What's the banging? Are you making things somewhere? Or moving things somewhere? She's going to come down and assault me now, waiting to see it. Abigail, thank you very much indeed. What else? A mission pack with 10 scenarios and 2 Vietnam-era carriers, the USS Intrepid and the USS Yorktown. Ooh, nice. And we do get a couple of sneaky peek preview pictures here of the upcoming machine. Isn't it gorgeous? Were you moving stuff? Were things banging all over the shop?
Yeah.
Jesus, go handy. These are the jobs I should be doing. The plane is massive in person. It's a huge aircraft, massive airplane. But yeah, I'm excited to see this one. The aircraft currently in its final development phase with sounds being integrated.
Sorry, it's great to get into a teenager's room when they're not there.
Yes. Two-Tone Jr. on their first overnight with the school, and now the missus has gone into the room. You probably found stuff, I'd say, from the 70s.
Yeah.
There you go, right? And he was only how old is he? 16? Right? Do the maths. But anyway, pricing confirmed at $24.99. The release planned across Miltech's own store, and also iniBuilds and Blackbird store will also get it, as will the InSim marketplace. No firm date has been set. Miltech indicates release is not far off, right? Adam Controls is here. Good to see you, buddy. Alongside the other headline, Miltech shared some updates with the MH60. There's a patch in development addressing some bugs, such as the APU fuel valve, the MFD stability, and also the autopilot. Are you all right? Sit in your feckin' hands, woman. You're making terrible noise.
Sorry.
What did you drop?
Bottle.
Welcome to the ASMR. I wonder what in the name of Jesus is going on in the background stream. Can you guess the sound?
Huh?
I'm saying to them, can you guess the sound? You've done a day's work. Relax. You know, talk to the cat, read a book. Sit and admire your husband, at work.
You're here all day. You could clear this room.
I can't. Clear rooms, you mad? I'd love to, but my back is very sore after all the lifting of the heavy bags.
Heavy bags are recycling. Yeah.
Belt him over the head with a frying pan. That's what Adam says. Jesus. Right. Anyway, the Mission Hub on Marketplace, the tool is expected to arrive later on this month. Great news for Xbox pilots. And October Dev blog is set to include news on the CH-53, the U2, and an unannounced project. Ooh. Great news there from Miltech. Moving on, Black Square, the TBM 850. We're going to check this one out tonight. Well, it just became fully Flight Sim 2024 ready. Black Square's impressive aircraft lineup for Microsoft Flight Sim just got a major new update. The developer has started bringing their high-fidelity aircraft to 2024, starting off with the TBM 850 being the latest to receive a compatibility update for the sim. The update also adds a number of quality of life improvements across the board, so let's go check them out. Echo Tyler, Jesus, Echo 19, Tyler, good to see you, buddy. Some say the man has absolutely incredible skills. Clem, the A350 pilot. Hey, Clem, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're well. Welcome in, everyone. Doesn't sound like a new kitchen. Shut up, Dazzle, will you? Jesus, getting us all in trouble, like, you know. But anyway, a proper walk around has been enabled, putting this onto the current TBM 850. Interactive pre-flight walk around mode, complete with a collision model and click spots for engine covers, pitot covers, chock stores, baggage, and so on. The systems have been tweaked. The familiar quirks of the TBM avionics will appreciate that the CAST 297B altitude selector has been overhauled to properly simulate vertical speed arming. Also, new is a surprisingly niche but realistic detail: the magnetic compass effects. The update introduces erratic compass behavior filtered through onboard magnetic fields. And there's something pretty cool about what Black Square do. It's not just for show; it's actually simulating the movement and physics and all that. It's pretty cool, right? And because Black Square loves simulation discomfort as much as the systems, the tablet now includes an air discomfort index in the cabin visualizer. The TBM will now quantify how much your passengers' ears are popping. When it comes to 24, the specific fixes, they've rebuilt the interior lighting system, addressing one of the common complaints from early adopters. That also included a workaround for the light flare bleed being added. One caveat, the dynamic tail number system still doesn't play nice. There is an update due. It seems to be flagged in Sim Update 4 of the channel. So we have an option. I'll show you all that there now in a moment. Black Void, good to see you, buddy. Arva is here. Thank you very much indeed for your 21 months. Lads, the subs have been off the charts tonight. Jesus. With a can of Club Rock Shandy. You've well earned it, missus. Well done. Congratulations. A can of Rock Shandy. But yeah, so we're going to have a look at all this now in a moment. Also, a couple of new failures have been added, and also a couple of bug fixes have been done as well. So yeah, very excited about this. So we'll have a look here in a moment when we fire it all up. Now, iniBuilds, we're tracking their A340 news because it's looking the part, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about Sim Update 4, specifically when we look at iniBuilds, and for a lot of folks who are having WASM issues. We'll jump back to that in a moment. But anyway, iniBuilds revealed surprising details about the upcoming A340 airliner. Last week, we had a look at the first development update, where the spotlight was on the visuals, modelling the wear and tear. Well, this week, the focus shifts to the other half of the equation, how the aircraft will actually fly and behave. The update comes straight from Mike, iniBuilds head of aircraft development, who also happens to have 2 decades of real-world airline flying experience. His team has been busy shaping the A340 into what he calls true-to-life simulation, covering everything from engine performance quirks to the avionics logic. Although this was a build as a systems update, right, the R team couldn't resist sneaking in a few fixes based on community feedback. Engine rotation has been corrected. The fan blades were spinning the wrong way. Wing flex tuning. The wing no longer bends like a rubber band on takeoff. Mrs. Dazza says hello to Mrs. Two-Tone. Hang on. Mrs. Dazza says hello. She says hello. They're very good. See, women, they can communicate without even communicating. The cockpit look, the older CRT style displays now feature deliberately degraded edges and pixelated terrain masks. Weather immersion, wipeable rain masks on the windscreens join the suite of atmospheric effects. And emergency slides have been added. That looks pretty cool, actually, doesn't it? Look at that. Emergency slides. Brilliant. Now, the flight model, slow and steady wins the climb. iniBuilds have rebuilt the A340's aerodynamics around 2024's new fuselage object modelling. Well, what that means is drag, crosswind response and side slip all take into account the jet's distinctive 4-engine design. Taxiing also feels different. The new ground contact system simulates skids if you get heavy-handed with the tiller or the rudder, even leaving tyre marks. A fully custom flap and slat system adds another layer, particularly in slats-only configurations at low speed. Meanwhile, the engines have been modelled with all the expected parameters. The EGT, FADEC, fuel burn, oil pressure, and the performance curve reflects what A340 crews know well. It's not quick off the line. Fully loaded clients can take up to 40 minutes to reach your cruise. As some like to joke, the A340 sometimes feels as if it only gets airborne thanks to the curvature of the Earth rather than its own power. That's hilarious. Father's Game, good to see you. Welcome in, buddy. Rotation technique matters too. iniBuilds cautions that unless you follow Airbus's steady 3 degree per second pitch up, a tail strike could be the result. And the fly-by-wire feels heavier than the newer Airbus, with roll inputs settling progressively rather than snapping back to wings level. This thing is going to be quite the unique aircraft to fly, I'd say. Systems depth when it comes to quirks, printers and cabin climate. iniBuilds team is filling the cockpit with features, both major and minor. So we have things like the onboard printer, right? Standby attitude caging, paravisual indicator, ACARS and DCDU integration, Mora display, auto save. We have the EIS versions, or EIS1 versus EIS2 quirks, that's the older ND. Cabin temperature simulation, pretty cool. GSX integration, rewritten from scratch, and an EFB overhaul. iniBuilds say a welcome to video will come closer to the release. Let's have a look at their engine startup for the sheer crack and messing for it, because you know what I mean. You just wouldn't know your luck with this. Hang on, we'll give this a blast and see what happens. If you knew where the buttons were. Man alive, the fans look good. I gotta say, that looks pretty sweet. That looks pretty sweet. So, also, what else do we have? Showing off the wind flex and the rain effects could look pretty cool. Let's have a quick look at this. Ooh. That's very pretty. Get rid of the music, we get in trouble. That's very pretty, isn't it? Oh, look at that, to have it as well on the engines. Ooh. I don't know, lads. What do you think about the A340? I mean, is this definitely something that you want to be given a bash? It looks gorgeous. Like, for like the weirdest and longest looking plane, it's pretty cool looking. And like, it's old school as well. Now, the A340, is it a case that we're looking at kind of cargo stuff? You know what I mean? It could be anything you flying the A340 and X-plane. Ooh. Great work there from iniBuilds. Now we move on. RealVFR have released Guernsey Airport for Flight Sim 2024. The charming and small regional airport on the island of Guernsey with the ICAO of Echo Golf Juliet Bravo has arrived in Flight Sim 2024 with RealVFR's latest release. Having previously released the Isles of Sicily and Bolthead Airfield, the team have ventured into a slightly larger airfield, this time targeting Guernsey, home to the Origny? How would you pronounce that? And also Blue Islands along with the airlines. That's pretty cool. As well as being a hub for a number of general aviation pilots. With a 1,463 metre long runway with instrument approaches, the airport is a unique and often challenging destination. RNE. Thank you very much. RNE, that's the one. Why is his screen yellow? Is my screen yellow? The G is silent. Is my screen actually yellow? You need to tell me these things. It is friggin' yellow. Hang on, how do we fix this? Hang on. Does that fix it? Yeah, that looks a bit better, doesn't it? I don't know. That's the capture card, lads. I keep telling you. Weird, right? It's like colour tones. I need to figure it all out. But anyway, we flew into Guernsey not too long ago for our Vatson flights. But this is looking very pretty, isn't it? Look at the detail. Absolutely stunning. Beautiful Spitfire parked up. This looks very nice, actually. I thought it was easier on your old eyes. Thanks, right? Dot matrix. I don't know. It's not yellow, but you are. My colours are all shagged. All my colours are shagged. I need to add that to the list to fix things, lads. Right, grand. I'm glad we got that out of the way. What the day, Jesus. Anyway, let me see here now. Where can we get this? It's available now over on the RealVFR website for £15, lads. £15 for Guernsey. Ooh, that could be nice. Now, we can now explore Jurassic World islands in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. Orbex have released Jurassic World for Microsoft Flight Sim. And, well, we'll be checking this out next week. We have the official launch trailer. Let's go ahead and give this a blast, because I think it shows a lot more than what we looked at the last time. So here's a video we can go and watch and, you know, be wowed by Jurassic World. As she said in the morning. Yeah, we'll get a hit for the music, but sure, listen, you know what I mean? It's Warner Brothers. At least they'll say, who's this Muppet Murphy? You know what I mean? I have to say, that looks kind of nice. The expansion doesn't stop there. Not at all. Across the islands are animated dinosaurs and reptiles. They roam on the land and in the water, even in the skies. They're not just background decoration either. The package introduces Jurassic World-themed flight activities and missions alongside exclusive aircraft liveries. The full package, highly detailed recreations of all the islands, custom airfields and helipads, animated dinosaurs and reptiles, themed aircraft liveries, and exclusive Jurassic World missions. In Orbex's own words, the project was designed to combine the fun and familiarity of Jurassic World with the flexibility of flight simulation, aiming to create something surprising for both audiences. It's available right now over on Orbex Direct. Pricing is at $24.99 US, with the final amount varying depending on taxes and exchange rates. There's also several bundles in which you can add the PAC 750 aircraft and also Volanta to it as well. Versions for Xbox and Flight Sim 2020 currently in development and will follow on at a later date. Adam is here. Good to see you, buddy. Murph, the next stream needs to be a helicopter around the island. We're going to do it next Wednesday, Adam. Hope you're well, buddy. The price is a bit steep. Well, I mean, they had to go all the way back in time to study the dinosaurs, you know what I mean? Downrange, good to see you. Is there something to download or buy for Shared Cockpit for X-Plane 12? Yes, there is. Shared Cockpit is native. Also, some add-ons come with native Shared Cockpit, but there's also a Shared Cockpit app you can get for X-Plane as well. I forget the name of it, but Downrange, drop us a DM, I'll give you the link. The only difference is they won't eat you, right? Peter Roberts is here. Have migrated my complete cockpit setup from one room to another. Hello to Arizona. Hope you're well, Peter. Where's this now? Oh, life always finds a way, right? Hassan is here. Good to see you. Yeah, it's no Formula 1 tonight. I needed to chase. That was some crack last night, wasn't it? Warner Brothers, no, it's Universal. Oh, wait, was it Universal? All right. Art is one of them anyway. It's Universal's Warner Brothers. Yeah. Or is it Warner's Universal? Yeah, I don't know. That's it looks pretty good, right? It adds islands to it, like it's and I gotta say, for the trailer, it looked friggin' gorgeous, right? So we'll have a look at that next Wednesday. Now, moving on, Atelic have released Luxembourg Airport, Echo Lima Lima X-Ray for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Luxembourg might be a small country, but its airport punches far above its weight. Luxembourg Airport is the nation's only international gateway, home to Luxair and global cargo giant Cargolux. It's a surprisingly busy hub, balancing short-haul European ops with long-haul, wide-body flights, and today's simmers get a new way to experience it in Microsoft Flight Sim thanks to Atelic's brand new rendition of the airport available for both sims. The developer claims the scenery is the only one fully aligned with the Real World 2025 airport, making it the most up-to-date version. Handcrafted airport and landside area, fully modelled realistic terminal interiors, animated airport tram, detailed cargo lux and Luxair hangars with interiors, accurate terrain with the Real World runway slope, custom ground textures, realistic wear, rubber marks and weathering, detailed control tower, modelled interiors for the GA hangars, enhanced night lighting, and also key surrounding landmarks. Whether you buy this for 2020 or 2024, you can swap between them later at no additional cost. And if you're quick, you can get an advantage of 15% discount over on Contrail, $16.49, and it's 15% off right now. I will share that link with you if you want to grab it. Just need PMDG 747, 100%, Clem, 100%. Can't wait to smash the 747 into the hump that sits on 06. Yeah, it's, I want to add that. I haven't flown in there yet. So there we go. Luxembourg Airport. It looks very pretty. Now, Sim Update 4, the beta and the release notes, because I wanted to go back into this. So, Flight Sim 24 entered a new testing phase with Sim Update 4 beta, and its stability first update. Since 2024 was released back in November, users have reported sudden crashes and inconsistent performance. VR pilots haven't been left out either on this update as well. There's a couple of changes going for those. So Microsoft have they've listed dozens of crashes fixes across all the core systems, and they also said there's better CPU thread optimization, and that's going to lead to fewer CTDs, and particularly in complex multiplayer or busy airport sessions, right? For VR pilots, a new foveated rendering scale slider has been added to the graphic settings, allowing users to tune how the sim balances performance and visual clarity inside the headset. Other VR annoyances such as the cockpit LOD behavior have also been corrected. Avionics polish and correction. Stability is the headline. Avionics have received considerable attention, with the Garmin units, the Collins Pro line and the Honeywell's Primus all now handle waypoint rendering way more efficiently and display fewer spurious traffic symbols. Flight path vectorization has been reworked to eliminate the jarring oscillations that sometimes plagued LNAV routes, and synthetic vision displays have been recalibrated to better reflect the field of view of the real-world counterparts. And VNAV guidance logic has been adjusted to follow barometric altitude rather than that of the GPS altitude. Ooh. One of the most technically interesting additions is the new parameter that introduces support for a full inertia tensor in aircraft configuration. Now you might be saying, huh? Basically, this gives developers a more mathematical accurate model of how weight and momentum affects the handling of the aircraft. This could be huge, right? The update also raises the limits on rotational velocity and acceleration, making the sim more resilient to extreme scenarios. While the average simmer, you mightn't even notice, developers of high-fidelity aircraft certainly will. Over time, this could subtly change the feel of certain aircraft as studios adapt their flight models to the new system. That's huge news. Aircraft-specific improvements alongside the sweeping stability and performance fixes, Sim Update 4 also delivers a wide range of adjustments to the individual aircraft. Visual details, the likes of the Diamond DA2, fixing the canopy frost effects on the F-18, and cleaning up lighting artifacts around the 737 MAX taxi lights. Others improve systems functionality, like the reworked electrical system in the Airbus 125 and how the EPM brightness controls in the Cabri G2. Utility and specialty aircraft also see refinements, with the CL415 with improved physics and visuals for water drop during firefighting missions, while aerobatic favourites like the MXSR and the Edge 540 now feature proper smoke effects. Even hot air balloons benefit from the fixes to their controls and configuration behaviour. Caveats for testers, right? As always, joining the beta does come with conditions. They've made it clear career mode and Challenge League progress are isolated, usually with multiplayer as well. Means flights logs, money earned, or leaderboard positions in the beta will not transfer back. You also have to be worried about the community folder, with outdated add-ons remaining a common source of crashes. A new Community 2024 folder has been introduced to handle compatibility with 2020 add-ons, but be careful as management is still recommended. For PC players using the store version, there is an additional risk if your sim content is installed by the default path. Leaving the beta may require a full reinstall. One wants to be careful. Now, when we look at, I'm looking at the WASM stuff, right? Because WASM is where it needs a lot of work.
Oh,
So
Jesus.
based on, now I haven't tried this yet, but I will. Based on the fixes that they're adding in, and there's a lot, right? So there's a couple of things, multiplayer specific, right? Fixed logo on players playing not being duplicated in multiplayer. Fixed multiplayer plane movement when the pilot is in photo mode, and fixed visual and audio effects not properly replicated in multiplayer for hot air balloon. What? Really? Anyway, where is this now? Down to me WASM stuff. Sim, Biome, SDK, WASM, right? WASM. This is where it gets interesting, right? B Black, welcome in. Piku, I love when people use the word tensor instead of matrix. Right? Where is this now? 777, good to see you. Energizer says, minus the WASM issues, the beta has been superb. Nearly double the FPS with the Phoenix. Ooh, nice, man, nice. So, the WASM stuff, they've added in VAR's API callback, rename functions, that's grand. Fixed Visual Studio detection of C++, that's important. Fixed access for the utilities, that's important. Added support for the structure variables, that's grand. They fixed the flow and register function. Added get VAR name in the API instead of getting a name variable. I don't know what that is actually going to do. Added better error handling when WASM module fails to load, which will avoid random crashes. This here, lads, looks to be terribly important. This one line, they've added better error handling when WASM modules fails to load, which will avoid random crashes. This came up in the last official dev stream. And I think it was Martial who said, yeah, look, they're aware if WASM crashes, it's crashed. That's it. It can't recover. However, what they look to be doing here, when they do get errors, depending on what they are, there might be a better way now for WASM to deal with this rather than shutting down the WASM engine. Or you know what I mean? So I think this could be good. They fixed the reload WASM systems on a build package, added support for BVARs, and added possibility on targets. The rest goes on and on. There's a couple of fixes here as well. But that single line here, right? This is a big thing, I think, because if the developer, your third-party developer, if they're struggling with WASM, well, you know, the core sim should be able to handle those errors better rather than just crashing, right? But it also means with the other fixes, they're giving the third-party developers more options now to tweak WASM, the WebAssembly stuff, and to try and make it that little bit more better. So I think this is good. So yeah, other things, other dev tools and stuff that are there. There's quite a lot with this. Now, I don't know where we're at when it comes to, an actual release date, right? We just have to wait and see, right? But I think overall, anything that's going to be enhancing, anything that enhances the stability of the sim, I hope we're not waiting months for this. It's like, no, get it out there and get it out there soon, and we can kind of build on from that. You know what I mean? But yeah, now speaking of hype, I don't see anything at least in these release notes about the H225. Energizer, yeah, that's possible. That is very possible. But yeah, it doesn't say anything. Did anyone see anything about the H225? Started the beta and they already have an update today. They're moving fast. Well, fingers crossed. Something at the top. On the H225. Nope. Again, not the H225. Gerben is giving out about it. So yeah, nothing about the H225 in there yet, unfortunately. But anyway, that is where we're going, lads. Sim update 4. For those who might be struggling with certain aircraft with WASM, maybe give this a go. It's worth a shot, right? Worth a shot. Now, Tolis, their A319 over in the world of X-Plane, they've entered a beta for their weather radar, which is utilizing X-Plane's new weather radar technology. It's all part of a beta, so X-Plane 12.3 hasn't fully been released yet. Very much in, it's a beta, right? So they did add the feature of a full working weather radar, And Laminar research now includes more accurate reflections, attenuation, and range sensitivity. The system has been integrated. It means that various switches on the weather radar panel now directly control aspects of the weather radar, which is going to be a huge welcome to a lot of the airline flyers over in the world of X-Plane. Tolas have adopted this now for their A319 in a beta mode, and I would expect the rest of the fleet to follow on very, very quick indeed. So, Flight Factor, the 777 version 2 over at X-Plane, it has officially left the beta phase. The flagship Boeing V2 Ultimate has exited open beta after more than a year of testing, with the version 2.11 release candidate going forward. Each update will include a stable, roll-backable build to ensure reliability for users, while active development continues with fixes, refinements, and new features. Several fixes and additions have also been introduced, including the Intercept TCAS, the UPRT and wind shear training scenarios, a keyboard for the EFB performance calculator, emergency light switch commands, gear door unsafe lights to the gear bays, and a list of other features. Future releases will continue to evolve the aircraft with new features and additional variants, the Dash 300, the freighter and the long range, and engine options for the extended version. If you don't own Flight Factor's 777 version 2, it's now available over on xplane.org. It's priced at $89. Now, before, the jaw hits the ground, I will say this. This is by far the very best simulation of a Boeing 777 on a consumer flight sim. It just is. It's excellent, right? PMDG get close, but this thing is nuts. It really is. I mean, there's depth of systems on this machine. And I think anyone who owns it, the crack, right? This is an amazing aircraft. This alone is a reason many folks have stuck with X-Plane. It's an incredible aircraft to fly, and it's such an incredible experience if you like flying the larger aircraft. But it's beautiful, it looks great, it flies great, it sounds great, and there's more systems on this. If you only ever had one aircraft, if you're going to go the airliner route, this is it, lads. It's excellent, right? And price-wise, as I said, $89. It's not cheap, but I have this. I've been watching the updates roll from month to month to month. They're constantly tweaking it. It is excellent. It's absolutely excellent. So if you're considering X-Plane, if you're considering you want to get yourself into an airliner just to see what the difference is going to be, I can tell you it's massive. It's huge. Awesome aircraft. Now, iniBuilds Leeds Bradford, we're going to be checking this one out. Also tonight, they have released Leeds Bradford version 2 for Flight Sim 2024, bringing the airport up to the latest sim standards. Leeds Bradford, regional airport located in Yorkshire in northern England, located 7 miles from Leeds, 9 miles from Bradford, and is primarily served by the low-cost and charter airlines. Aer Lingus, EasyJet, KLM, Ryanair, TUI, and so on. Jet2.com is based at Leeds Bradford, the third largest scheduled airline in the UK. The updated airport includes improved terminal models, fully reworked ground texturing and marking, updated ground service equipment, enhanced terminal interiors, custom jetways with PBR, smooth animations, accurate taxiway signage, custom ground service equipment, ground clutter, vehicle matching Leeds Bradford operations, optimize the LODs for performance across the different PC setup. You can purchase iniBuilds Leeds Bradford version 2 for the sim over on iniBuilds at for £9.99. Existing owners can upgrade for just $3.99 using the code Echo Golf November Mike Uniform Golf. Huge. We're going to check out the scenery here tonight as well. Moving on, last couple of bits coming in. News here from SayIntentions. I had to kind of shout this one, lads. And I hope they don't mind that I, give everyone all this information. But to me, I think this is huge, right? What's going on here now? Buttons are being pressed. And for some reason, they're not working. Are we still live everywhere, lads? We are. Everyone loves the Jet2 holiday, right? Now, is that working? That page is working, but that one isn't working. Interesting. All right, we'll see if it comes back alive. Anyway, SayIntentions. They've an update coming out to their partners, and partners first, and then so on and so on and so on. Have a listen to this. SayIntentions are putting the final touches on Checklist Tuner version 2, and, well, it's going to be released to their partners very, very soon. The Checklist Tuner version 2 is a full-blown reinvention, right? It's a whole new category of AI-powered technology. Remember what I felt the first time you used SayIntentions to leap forward? Well, that's the sort of thing when it comes to checklists. What do we mean by this? these are checklists that you can download or you can upload or you can create your own, right? Create your own. And what they can do now, it's not just a simple checklist that you go and click a button and it says, you click that button. Okay, I'll put a tick here. You can do that. But now you can offload the checklists to your Copilot, for example, and also other features. For instance, you will be able to say to your Copilot, flaps 15, your Copilot will set your flaps to flaps 15. You can say to your Copilot, gear up, turn on the landing lights. The Copilot will now be able to take control of the aircraft and do all of these things for you. This is huge, right? Checklist items can now be directly linked to the simulator variable and the events using LVARs, KVARs, and SimVARs. They also work for BVARs for the advanced aircraft using WASM, right? And they'll also work in the DREFs for X-Plane. What? It means your Copilot can speak real-time values like flap set to 15, flip switches or monitor cockpit states, perform voice-triggered commands like set landing lights on or extend the gear, react dynamically based on developer-specific aircraft logic, and yes, it works across all the simulators. AI PDF import. You just upload your checklist and SayIntentions will parse it into a structured flow, auto-detect challenge response lines, and then set you up for editing or automation immediately. You don't need to retype, you don't need a wizard, you just import it and you fly it, meaning you can put in your own checklists. What? Right? The cockpit modes are for your Copilot. You can choose how to interact choose how interactive your Copilot is. Basic challenge response, he reads the item, waits for check or set. Flows are automatically with timed pauses, so he'll just read down through them. Advanced challenge or response responds only to specific phrases or fully automatic tied to real sim logic and variable states. You can mix and match the modes across any checklist, trigger flows with voice or click as it's hands-on or hands-free as you want it to be. It's pretty mad. And every checklist, collection and item can be cloned, modified and shared. Built once, adapt forever. You're going to have access to all of these things and so on and so on. There's absolutely cool stuff coming from SayIntentions. Another thing they're working on, which is for X-Plane pilots, it's the traffic arrows. And this is pretty handy, right? X-Plane crew, you wanted traffic. While full SayIntentions.ai traffic isn't there just yet, they are giving their partners something tangible. It can now draw the taxiway lines onto your sim, just like a Microsoft Flight Sim. Very, very handy indeed. Of course, we had a quick look at their new pilot portal last week. It's very fresh, new UI design. Everything there is looking absolutely fantastic. So it's a huge update from SayIntentions, and it's a lot of cool stuff is on the way, lads, for the checklists. That's cool stuff. I'm very much looking forward to that now, because that's going to be a game changer, I think. Do you know, what do you think of that? Pretty cool, right? Linny, good evening. Hope you're well. So that's pretty cool. Now, the last thing we're going to look at, a quick update on our Firefly Air stats console. We haven't checked this in a while. So our current XP for the airline is at 2.69 million. It's almost at 3 million. New hub opens at every 3 million. And we can go in here now and have a look at some of the leagues to see, well, how is everyone getting on when it comes to flying, right? So we can see that 6 knots, Sean Dale, Restoring are all in the top 3 with Paparazzi, Ironbird and Assidious with Stick Figure there closing in. That's in Sean's Premiership. In League 1, we have Obslinks, we have Reckless Ray, Hot Pants on Fire, and Cy Murray is right up there as well. In League 2, the Limbics, Tima, Tarnish, Rambog and Dougal. Down here, Motley Crew, we have Asgard, Crusher, Peter Van Rossum and also Spy Command. League 4, The Impossible Face, Angels 15 or 15, MDR, Dave is there, Beamy Noble, Drew, I'm hovering there looking number 7, up the Divia, and then we have the Skoda Conference of Coastal Royalty, Croup K, Edocon and so on. So there's lots and lots and lots of activity going on when it comes to Firefly Air, and the VATSIM flights are absolutely out the door busy as well. Now, Dougal, I know you were saying you have a bit of an issue. We need to fix that, but we'll figure it out for you. We can see here that it is logging your hours all on VATSIM. This is for VATSIM only traffic, and you can see there now the country visits. The US is going to start climbing very, very quick on the VATSIM page as we continue on doing our US series. So, Muse fan, how am I in League 2? Sure, listen, Muse, you know, it's all these things. And these are the dates running now. So company routes per day, we can see who's doing what. Let everything load up here now. And this is all part of our virtual airline, Firefly Air. It's free to join up. We're very easy going. You don't need to be doing bad stuff. Just fly. And you can see the average landing rates. You can see the pilot record counts and so on and so forth. All the different stats that we can look at, they're all here. And this is all put together, of course, by 6 Knots and the Firefly Air admin team. It's absolutely brilliant. So we are getting close to another hub opening, which is going to be great news. And yeah, you can go in here and check in on your own stats as well. You can put in the filter for your own name, and you can find out, you know, what pilot do you want. Can be put in is Mr. Murphy, type to search, two-tone, there we go. So if we click in on me, this will load up all the flights that I'm doing. Yes, and where I'm going, and the records, and the aircraft, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of cool stuff here over the last couple of days. So do be sure to check it out. The last 7 days, why don't we look at, you know, this month. Let's look at all this month. Apply. And it loads up all the different stats and it shows you, well, these are all the flights you did. This is where you went. This is the aircraft you flew. Here's the map. How many hours you were flying. What was the distance? How much fuel did you use? How many points did you achieve? All of that is available right here over on our website, twotomemurphy.com. So do be sure to go over, check it all out. Have a read at Firefly Air. It's free to join, and we do tons of stuff with that as well. So it's pretty cool. So that is the news, and from here, friends, we're going to start off checking out some stuff. We're here with the TBM 850. As I said, it got a nice quality of life update, but it also introduces Flight Sim 2024 compatibility.
Oh, Jesus. Proper
compatibility. Now, one thing I will say, prior to this, I was always using the TBM with the FT Sim sound pack. Unfortunately, they no longer work. So I'm back to the default TBM 930 sounds, which was always the case when it came to this aircraft. So a couple of things we'll start off with. If we have a look at the tablet, we have some newity. So at the moment, you'll see in Flights in 2024, when you were trying to load the aircraft, sometimes you get a big black or a big white box where your dynamic tail number would live. But we now have an option on the tablet that we can say, well, look, show it or not show it. So sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not. It depends on how the sim loads this up. And Black Square are aware of this, and the good news now, well, Asobo are aware of this. They know it's a bug, they're going to try and fix it, and once it is fixed, you know, this won't be needed, and you'll be able to change your dynamic tail number. So in this particular instance, it ain't working. When it comes to the payload here, again, the external power is now back working. I was having issues with that. When it comes to the engine, everything here is looking good. The electrical system has all been tweaked. And we have this new one here for the ear discomfort level being simulated on the aircraft as well. And that's based on your cabin altitude. And there's new failures having to be, they've all been added in as well. Now, if you've never flown the TBM 850 in Microsoft Flight Sim, I can tell you it is one of the absolute best aircraft. And from a general aviation perspective, you can do your IF4, your VF4, you can do all your stuff. This is an awesome plane. Do we still need 2020's 930 sounds? No, shuts. So you would have to now remove your 2020 TBM 930 because it's using the new one of Flight Sim 2024. All right. So what we're going to do with this, just kind of give you an idea of how it's all kind of going together, we'll just give it a bit of an engine startup. We'll get the external power plugged in. There she be there now beside us, right? And if you jump to the back door, we'll try and get this door closed. No. Oh, wait, hang on. Close the steps, you muppet. There we go. And here comes down our door. And we're waiting for the greens. And we're greens. Right. So what we're going to do, we're going to go for a startup on this machine here. So let's see. Locking to idle. Prop full. And the sounds are quite good, but they're using the default stuff. I was happy with FT Sim stuff before, right? So we're going to go ahead and bring the bar up. Battery and GPU can come on. because we're on the GPU for the moment. And we have all our various systems here that we can go playing with, including the nav lights. We can go ahead and cancel some stuff here. We'll open up that inertial separator. Sounds are all working as well. This is a beautiful, beautiful aircraft, lads. Absolutely fantastic. Now, in actual fact, we'll probably come off the GPU because we're going to start this one manually. Okay, as we wait for that to open, we're going to get the ignition set to auto. Come on down here and turn on our auxiliary booster pump. Put that onto auto mode. Come down here. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. So we'll go for a startup now on the aircraft itself. Are we ready, friends? Let's see what happens. Alright, so starter has been engaged. We're going to monitor our NG, and we're looking for speeds to get up here somewhere between 18 and 20. Then we introduce some fuel, and we monitor our ITT because it's fully modelled. The Pratt & Whitney PT6 engine has been fully modelled in this aircraft, and it's done very well. So NG is looking good, fuel coming in. Let's monitor the ITT for a hot start. Peaks at 738, we're good. NG continues to rise. Once we get up past 50%, we can disengage that starter and then continue on with our flows. There is 50%. And we continue on. Starter off. Ignition auto. Generators are on. Beautiful sounds. And these are all default sounds, right? And that's our aircraft up and running. We also have the options when it comes to using some of the avionics in the aircraft. They're all there. Compass animations, everything here is working so very, very well indeed. Pretty cool, right? And then, of course, the sounds of the aircraft, even though they're default, they're very good. Pretty cool, right? So the TBM back in action, working natively now in 2024, and I gotta say, lads, this is a splendid aircraft. When it comes to the sounds, I'm hoping that FT Sim will do us something soon, and yeah, it could do with a sound pack. The sounds aren't bad, don't get me wrong, and to be honest, the TBM 850 and the 930 is the same engine. So they're going to sound very similar, right? But there's a couple of things, like that startup, there's usually a bit of a whistle out of that PT6 warming up. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Anyway, old veteran just sent me a picture of a, looks like a KC-135 ornament for the garden. It's a bird feeder. That's incredible. Jamaican runner, yeah, man, this is absolutely gorgeous. The TBM, it's just a great aircraft. Tons of options. The nav options on this are absolutely incredible, and it comes packed with all the Black Square bits and bobs that you've come to love when it comes to changing out the different avionics that you like. And we can get in and mess with those here. The options, we can see, well, what do you want for your avionics? We can go with the GNS 530 or swap it out for the KX155. Confirm that. Give it a second to load. Change the autopilot system. And we can change the autopilot system. We can also remove a GPS if we want to go back into the older days, right? So we can remove all of these things and it'll change our panel, and now we've no GPS. We've got to fly this old school. You have a lot of options to this. They've done a great job. You can choose between the PMS 50 or also the TDS GTNXI. You have options on top of options on top of options. It's an excellent aircraft. Excellent. Right, so if you're thinking about picking up the TBM 850, now is the time to grab it. It is an excellent aircraft. It's my go-to plane. If I ever want to practice something on VATSIM or whatever else, this is what I do. This is the machine I fly. All right. So what we'll do now, we'll go ahead and take it all offline because we're going to check out some of the scenery where we're at. So we'll go ahead and turn off avionics and all the jazz. including the EFIS. We can go ahead and get this off, that off, fuel pump coming off, that back to manual. Make sure our ignition switch is to the off position and go ahead and kill the power. Leave the inertial separator open. Isn't it only cool? Fully off, and you're listening to the gyro spin down. Most of my sim time is in this plane, says Digital Merc. Yeah, it's really, really good, lads. It's awesome. I remember the Hot Start as well. Do you remember that, Merc? That was such a great plane, the TBM Hot Start. Was it TBM 900, I think? But anyway, so the TBM has been updated to Flight Sim 2024 capabilities. It's working well. It's looking, sounding, and flying really, really well. So, as I say, it's if you're looking for your next purchase, if you haven't already got the TBM, I would highly recommend it. Now, can I not open the door from here? Interesting. We can go to the tablet, and let's see here. We'll put all these on, pop the nose door as well. There we go. And you can refill the oxygen and all this sort of stuff. And then in the walk around mode, well, we have full use of the native walk around now inside 2024. We have various click spots here. We can remove engine tie downs, covers, pedos, chocks. And the nice thing what Black Square have done, not only can you remove them, well, you can put them back on again. And a lot of developers forget that. It's a one hit wonder and away you go. So this is pretty cool that we can now do all of these things. Now, I'm unsure, can we close this from the outside? I imagine we can. Yeah. Pretty cool, right? You can open the bonnet too, yeah. Well, you can. Wait now, was that new? Jesus. Can we open both sides? Yes. There is the back of a PT6A. I mean, look at the detail, lads. Isn't it gorgeous? And it's a TBM 850. A TBM 850. This is Steve at One Knievo's machine. So, highly recommend this bird, lads. It's amazing. It's amazing. No, Murph, you can't convince me to buy the TBM. My heart belongs to the professional caravan. This is the machine to get. It's awesome. Right, so while we're here, lads, welcome to Tokyo. Yes, we have loaded in because we're going to be checking out Tokyo Times, the latest release here from Samsung 3D. Now, these guys have done incredible... Jesus. Okay, I've broken things. These lads have done incredible stuff when it comes to adding in... different buildings and models and objects when it comes to some of the default stuff. It's a redesign of Tokyo Times. There's over 500 handcrafted models. They've added in many of the handcrafted buildings to the Haneda airport surrounding as well. We've beautiful night effects we're going to check out here in a moment. Many famous museums, buildings, the shopping malls, hotels, banks, towers, plazas, you name it, lads. It's here, right? And as you can see with the photogrammetry loading in, right? We got ourselves a bit of altitude here and speed up some stuff, right? This is a gigantic city. Tokyo is absolutely huge. And what we're looking at here, yes, we do have photogrammetry, right? And you can see where the photogrammetry is, right? You have the weird kind of, you know what I'm saying? There's photogrammetry and whatnot. However, once you get over then to what Samsung has done and you can see the detail they've put in to their models, well, it's quite good. And it enhances it. It doesn't replace it. It just enhances it. You can see here with the bridge gone in here as well. There's a ton of helipads added. There's an absolute mountain of stuff that you can go exploring in. And I got to say, lads, it's absolutely incredible. It's available to purchase over on the iniBuilds store. You can pick it up for about 20 euros, or if you own the original one, you can pick it up for about 15 euros or 13 euros as an upgraded price. But when it comes to Tokyo and all the buildings, I mean, you can see the photogrammetry buildings, you know, they look pretty nice. Get the mouse there so we're not kind of stuttering along. You can see where a lot of the landmarks are, right? But this is where the thing truly gets great. A problem that we have when it comes to photogrammetry, it doesn't necessarily capture lighting when it comes from buildings at nighttime. That's about to change, look. Because this absolutely transforms how all the buildings are lit up, in particular if they're landmarked buildings. Isn't that absolutely nuts? Isn't that pretty cool? Like performance-wise, it's not all that it's doing now. If you do see any kind of, you know, pauses or whatnot, that's purely from just filling up the cache. But as you can see, like the detail here is phenomenal. Phenomenal work has gone into this. It's absolutely stunning, and mixed with photogrammetry, it just brings that sharpness, you know. And I mean, you can see the buildings in the distance. I mean, it looks incredible. Proper lighting on the buildings, what you'd expect to see when it comes to, you know, skyscrapers and all the like. You know what I mean? It's absolutely superb. We got some nice lighting down here as well. Again, with more custom buildings thrown in. They've over 500 buildings gone into it. And it's a mix of photogrammetry with the buildings. And this is what you can see. They've put in helipads in locations as well. That's friggin' awesome. Most of the building tops have helipads now. They're solid structures. So you can have an absolute ball flying helicopters around here. We're going to have to do that on a stream one of the days just to check out the whole kind of setup. You know what I mean? They are landable, yeah, 100%. Again, more landmarks popped in there. Beautiful lighting on them. And as I say, performance here, it's running well. Absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? They've done phenomenal work here, and it's a huge, huge cityscape. You know, we'll come on over this way now as well, just to give you an idea. Like, it's just, you talk about going to explore a place. Isn't it mad? Absolutely stunning. And then we have all this skyline here. Look at the colors, look. And see the detail on these buildings versus photogrammetry. So you can see the difference, yeah? Photogrammetry and then what SayIntentions are able to do. Meaning that, you know, miles and miles away, you can actually identify these buildings. It's absolutely savage. Billboards and everything. Absolutely, man. Look at that. Look at that, lads. That is a sight to behold. Brighten it up there so you can really see it. Isn't that something else? So Tokyo Times from SayIntentions 3D, I think they've done an absolutely great job here. There's a bit of weirdness. There's the LOD coming back in. Like no textures on buildings. That was weird. But yeah, I think they've done a great job here. Bring it back into daytime. Something like that. Give it a bit of shadow. And now we're looking good again. What do you think, lads? It's impressive, isn't it? It's very, very impressive. And as I say, the amount of helipads they put in here in the buildings, and they're all solid so far as, well, you can land on them without having any issue. And there's tons of them. There's helipads like all over the shop. Solid. Isn't it brilliant? Absolutely brilliant. Like, it's class, man. SayIntentions have done some really, really good job or great work on some of these enhancements. Jesus, is that right? Maybe. I mean, look at the detail there, look. Bloody hell. So there we have it. Tokyo Times from SayIntentions. I mean, these guys, they've done Times Square. They've done loads. They've done tons of cities in the US. And it's great to see all this in here as well. And there's more down the road. Again, you can see more because see the way we can zoom in? The photogrammetry looks like melted candle wax, but you can see the actual SayIntentions buildings. Well, they keep their full definition because they're 3D objects. You can see those from miles and miles away. And if we were to compare this then to nighttime, well, you can kind of see the difference, look. Based on the range in which that we're at. Now, when we move closer in, yeah, the data starts loading, the buildings start becoming sharp. You'll see how they all come alive, right? And it's a very, very, very cool looking city, is Tokyo. You have this sort of crack, like. Isn't that superb looking? I think it's gorgeous, man. I think it's absolutely friggin' gorgeous. What a sight. I mean, that's the start of a movie right there, isn't it? You know. Well, you know what I can do, but like, do you know? This winter. Speaking of which, did you see the trailer for the new Forza Horizon? Jesus. But isn't it class looking? I wanted to showcase this one off, lads, because this is it's one of those sceneries that is highly, highly recommended. It is a massive cityscape. It's you know, it's somewhere off the beaten track. Maybe you don't fly a lot in Tokyo from a general aviation perspective, and definitely, you know, it's fake. Is it fake? Ah, no. No way, is it? Jesus. Ah, Cyrus, I thought it was real. I was like, finally, this thing actually looks good. Didn't I hear they weren't making a Forza? Or maybe Cyrus is just saying that to, like, you know, twist my arm. I don't know anymore. What's real or what isn't real? What's very real is the scenery, and it's beautiful. And you can pick it up right now over on iniBuilds. Use the link below. Brilliant. Right, let us continue on. And next up, lads, we're going to end this flight. And next up here on a little list of things to do, we are going to have a quick look at the newly updated Leeds Bradford, right? So we'll stay in the TBM for the crack. And we're going to go to, what's Leeds Bradford? Echo Golf. They stopped making Motorsport Series, not Horizon. Gotta be fake since I haven't heard anything about it yet. Is it fake, though? Cyrus, is it fake? Echo Golf, November, Mike. Malky, absolute ledge. Leeds Bradford. Ding. Down you go, you big Jesse. Right, scroll in here now. We'll try and find somewhere nice to park. Oh, the weather in Leeds is only gorgeous. Right, we're going to jump in here. Flight conditions. Make it daytime. And let's see what happens here, right? When he says the link below, it's coming. It is coming, but I think the trailer is a fake. Ooh. I have Orbex Leeds Bradford. Is this going to cost me more tosh? Well, the good news is it's not an expensive upgrade. Do you know? There's an iniBuilds link called Nebo on Twitch. Scroll down there, you'll see it. It's not raining. It's raining here in Leeds. No, I'm not using live weather. We can go to live weather if you'd like. But I don't know how well that'll look in the sim. Oh, balls. It'll load in the live weather here now in a moment. There you go. Yeah, that's probably more accurate for Leeds Bradford. To be fair, right? It's raining. We'll bring it back to, you know, not raining. And see what we can do with this. So, Leeds Bradford, it's the enhanced updated version. We'll start off by just leaving the camera here, looking in on the beautiful Skoda. Brilliant, right? Let's go exploring. So we're over here at the GA side and FBO side of the camp. And well, let's have a look here to see what we're looking at. So here is the multi-flight center, right? Jays, look at the terrain here as well. This is done very well. Now, any of you guys who are familiar with the airport, there's a weird bit of meshing. Anyone who's familiar with the airport, well, I'd love to hear your feedback because I have not been, I don't think I've been to Leeds Bradford. But from what I can see here inside the sim, well, it looks very, very good indeed. I think I remember using this back in Flight Sim 2020, and the detailing on the buildings was absolutely incredible. Pilot training areas, right? Got some helipads down here as well. That's all part multi-flight, whoever they are, they're freaking huge. Have some roads here, signage, right? Meridian granite. For a second there now, I thought it was going to be something else. Right, moving along, over the far side, under the bridge. And let's have a look at the commercial side of the airport. Jebison, good to see you. It's my old stomping ground. I worked here for 12 years. Jebison, good man yourself. Jebison, do you remember out the road you had the Hawthorne Farm pub? Was it a place? The farmhouse inns, pub dining and carvery. Ah, brilliant. So we want to check out how good everything is here now in the new advanced or enhanced edition of this scenery. And I got to say, it looks very pretty so far, doesn't it? Very pretty. Right, let's ramble in. Let's go exploring. Yes. Jet 2 holidays, or look, 22 kilos of baggage included. Oh, this looks very good. Jet 2. Feckin', they're advertising. It's a terrible meme, isn't it? The pub was nominated Fire Assembly Point. Really nice. All right, let's ramble in. It is a hub for Jet World. It is it's a hub for Jet 2. So we'll ramble in and let's see what we can see. Yorkshire Airport. Stunning detail here. So the interior is modelled. Right. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. All the gates are there. There's people. Don't hit the people, Murphy. Whoop. Ryanair. Landing you at airports that couldn't be further away from where you booked. That was inside a wall, Murphy. Notice! Do not enter! What's in behind it? Ah, nothing! That's why you don't enter those rooms. Brilliant. Right, coming through. Coming through. Check-in hall. There's food and drink down here. Hang on now. Aha. Currency exchange. Order online and pick up in store. Brilliant. International arrivals. No entry. Aw. Where's the departures? Right, lads. Anyone like anything from the vending machine? Would you like something from the vending machine? It could be quite handy. Right, so that was worth the strike. What else do we have here now? Right, hang on, we need to go to the far side. Because we can see the tower up here, look. There's a lot of detail in this. Look at that, man. Aircon units into the tower. Beautiful. Aviation laws. There's some iniBuilds, lads. Brilliant. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Thing Wizard, good to see you, buddy. There was a murder at the downtown theatre, but I was uptown with a monkey job. Right? Cigarette? Yes, I know. Brilliant. Look at this, look. The baggage card. It's the little things, isn't it? I should have been on that for the car. Jesus, there's interior stuff everywhere. This is class. It's very impressive, isn't it? It's a huge, even though it's small, it's quite a big It's quite a big airport. Ah, we found the bar. Brilliant. Food, that's good. Burger King. Yes. What else? Check-in hall. Yes, yes, yes. It's pretty cool, lads, isn't it? So looking on the air side then, plenty of stuff. We have plenty of vehicles, pushback, cargo. Even the baggage areas there done really well. It's nice, isn't it? Why is R from Bradford missing on the tower? It's there, but it's just... That's interesting. Did we find a bug? Leeds Bradford. Yeah, that could need a little patch. Well spotted. Who knows that? It's like that in real life, says Joey. Can you see if it has the new terminal, Murph? It was opened a few months ago. Opposite stands 912. Hey, Wombat, good to see you, man. Hope you're well. It was opened up where? Between 9 and 12. It was opened up a few months ago. It's opposite. Negative. No, it doesn't look like a Jeb. So they built a new term. It is there. Wait, is that it there? This looks new. Like, is this it here? Yeah, this is the new terminal. Look how happy he is sitting there. Jesus, brilliant. It's more of an extension. Yeah. Looks the part. It's a lovely airport. There's tons of detail here. And like that's, again, like the huge advantages of Flight Sim 2024. I mean, they can really, really add in all the clutter into these stuff. All the prefabs, look. Snowplows and Donata and all these lads. I never realised it's on a bit of a plateau as well, look. It's on a bit of a... Look at the height here. The hills, like. King Wizard, good to see you, buddy. Flying tonight, you take care, bud. Look at the height. Now, speaking of, let's have a look at the nighttime lighting, will we? Ooh. Oh man, look at that lighting. Jesus, that's fantastic, isn't it? I love that white lighting that they put. It's beautiful. Look at the signs even. That's awesome. Right, so what can we do here? I don't know. Sometimes the textures work, sometimes they don't. Let's give us a shot of rain here. We see what happens. She's thinking about it. Yep, she's doing it. I mean, can we just say, look at the absolute hack of that. With the reflections, like, isn't that exceptionally good? You fly out of there next Wednesday. Nice one, Jeff. Like, this is where these sceneries absolutely come alive. If they can get the lighting right, I mean, look at the detail. Isn't that stunning? That's beautiful, man. I'll come down here just so you can compare it then to some of the other colours around the place. Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful. That's insanely good, lads, isn't it? Excellent. Cara was there on Monday. Oh, nice. That's done so well, isn't it? Good question, Roy. What about snow? So, temperature. Oh, that's pressure. There's temperature, right? And here's our snow. Up a bit of daylight. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Jesus, look at that. Isn't that brilliant, isn't it? Snow accumulation on the vehicles as well. That's done really well. That's awesome. Yeah, that's done really, really well. ice and slush and stuff on the runways as well. Love the reflections. Yeah, it's done really well. iniBuilds have done a phenomenal job, I think, at this. It looks gorgeous, doesn't it? That's with snow as well. That's pretty cool looking. Gotta love that, lads, right? That's awesome. Proper like Winter Wonderland stuff. That's done really well. So iniBuilds Leeds Bradford version 2, fully enhanced for Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. If you haven't already bought it, you can pick it up right now from iniBuilds. If you had the older version, you can grab it for a upgrade, special upgrade price. And I think it's phenomenal. I think they've done a great job here. It's a beautiful location. There's photogrammetry nearby, and I think just an excellent job here from iniBuilds. It's gorgeous, isn't it gorgeous? Better on the sim, 100%. It's done really, really well. So Leeds Bradford, it's available right now, as I said, from iniBuilds. We'll have to fly into here soon. I might fly into here tomorrow, actually. I'm taking the Avro RJ out for a flight. We could do that. We could do that, you know. I can see your house from here. I can see my house from here. Nice. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Now, what we're going to do, lads, we're now going to move on to something a little bit different, because I've many settings, as you could have imagined, when it comes to Microsoft Flight Simulator, and you might be wondering what settings am I using and how do I get everything working, and well, a lot of the time, you know, Murph, how do you manage to kind of, you know, break things, right? Because I break many things. So what it is we're going to have a look at here now, right? What we're going to have a look at here now is a discussion about setting up the sim, right? So getting yourself started from the very, very beginning. So we're going to exit the sim. We're going to shut it all down. And there's a couple of things that I have on my side that maybe you might use yourself. Maybe you won't. But this is purely to see, is there any advantages of what I'm using? Or maybe you have some options yourself as well. All right. So first and foremost, where is or you know, where did I get my version of Microsoft Flight Sim 2024? I mean, is it from Game Pass? Is it from the marketplace? Or is it from Steam? Where should you get it? Well, there's no real there's no right or wrong answer, right? I mean, Steam works for a lot of people because it's it used to be the case in 2020 that the Steam client was a little bit, you know, a little bit more secure and not secure, a little bit more stable. I've always used the marketplace to launch the sim, and I've never really had an issue with that, right? Now, we're going to start off at the beginning. We're going to hide my face here for a minute, because what I want to show you, lads, what we're looking at here, can I do this? No. What I want to show you here is in your start folder, right? I'm mad for like a clean desktop, and there's method to me madness. Having a clean desktop, and it speeds up how your PC boots, right? If you have that like scattered with loads of files and folders, and you're delaying the process of starting things up. So what I've done, right, inside your start menu in Windows 11, I can just show off my pinned folders. And what I mean by that is I have broken down all into little groups where everything lives. For example, if I click on the stores folder, well, that'll show me Contrail, Orbex, SimMarket, Ini, and Aerosoft. If I click on the aircraft tab, I can see everything from, you know, the Phoenix, PMDG, iFly, FS Labs. Well, it's all there. If I go in and have a look at hardware, well, this could be hardware specific to what I'm using on my desk, the likes of Moby or SPAD, and so on and so on. The rig, when I use my motion rig, we can see the modes of cockpit. We have the Sim Racing Studio and Pimax. All that stuff is there. Anything that I'm doing with the rig, anything that I need, I've put into these little folders. Multiplayer then, FSUI PC, JoinFS, LRM, and when it comes into our nav, all our Navigraph stuff. When it comes into ATC, that's all our ATC stuff. You get the idea. But the reason for doing things like that, it just means you're not, you know, you're not filling your desktop with tons of little files and folders of where everything is, because like it would absolutely wreck your head. You know what I mean? So when you install your sim, the questions might be, well, where do you actually install it, right? And this is based on Windows, but if you don't have space on your C drive, well then, okay, yeah, you can pop it in another drive. A lot of people make this mistake. Make sure your simulator and the community folders are on your fastest possible hard drives. You can have your simulator sitting on a fancy M2 or whatever drive, but your add-ons linker, your add-ons, they're all sitting on like a standard hard drive. That's going to bring your performance right down, because you now have 2 data points, one of them considerably slower than the other. All right. Murph, there's a Microsoft tool called Zoom It, in which you can zoom in. Thanks. Yeah, we shouldn't need it. But I'll grab it if we need it. So on my side, local disk, and when it comes to managing, it depends on what sort of, real estate you have on your PC. These are 4 terabyte 990 Pro NVMe M2 drives. There's a whole lot of words. And what I've done on this, where the sim is installed, because it's through the store, it goes through the Xbox games folder. That's where it's installed. So there's the root folder of the sim. Now, it's not necessarily where you put in your community folder. This is the sim itself, right? And then I have other things like flight sim files, aircraft liveries, plugins, scenery, and, stream only. And I'll get into this now in a moment. I have a folder on the same drive, because it's fast, called flight sim files. And on my system, this is what I use. I use a program called MSFS add-ons linker, or the add-on linker. It's excellent. It just is. It's a great way of managing what you want running in your sim and when, because you can have presets to say, tonight I'm only going to fly general aviation, or presets I'm going to fly in Europe, or presets, I'm going to fly airliners. That means that when you load a preset, it will activate or deactivate the add-ons that you don't necessarily need to use. This is dead handy. And now the fact that we can download assets from Flight Sim 2024, aircraft and scenery, we can also link those through add-ons linker as well. Dead handy. So these folders it says aircraft liveries, plugins, and so on and so forth, right? That's mirroring what I have on my C drive. These are the actual folders here. And this is where add-ons linker is pointing to them. So for instance, if I go down to my stream only, I can see what ones are ticked with a green light. They're the ones that are active right now. If I want to save a bit of time or just not have all those resources running, I can click them off, and then the sim just doesn't need to load them. Same with aircraft, same with liveries. You get the idea, right? Add-on linker, I think it's a must-have. It's a must-have. Now make sure you keep it up to date, because every time they drop a new sim update, it breaks something. But I've been using this for years. It works flawlessly. Highly, highly recommend add-ons linker. Now, outside of add-ons linker, if I don't, I've limited space on this. I also have it's a 10 terabyte hard drive. And what I've done in here, this is all my other stuff. And for example, if I go into my flight sim stuff, this is a list of every single add-on that I have that may not necessarily be in it may not be in an installed state. So I have aircraft and whatever else, but I also have the 2024 folder. This is the add-ons specifically for 2024 that I've updated, and away we go. All scenery is there, and I've broken it down by country. It just means then when you start bringing these in to your your add-ons linker folder, it's far easier to figure out where things are. It's just easier. I can go scenery by country, or just local scenery. Right, so that's what I do with all the management, if you like, of where all my files are. Dastlinger says, I'll be honest, I've over 2 terabytes in my community folder, just loaded and never had any problems. You're one of the lucky ones. And the reason why I'm saying that, whenever there's an update to an aircraft or with the sim, and your community folder is in there, we have a lot of stuff now to kind of filter through if something breaks. You know what I mean? So if it's worked flawlessly, great, brilliant. But if you do have problems, this is a way perhaps to stick it onto your own machine. You know what I mean? So, that's kind of the file structure of where everything is. Now, we're going to stick with Windows for the moment. Let's say now you've installed your sim, you have all your scenery files, you've put them all away in different places. Well, there's a couple of things that you can do, on your PC when it comes to some settings. And some of this stuff you could be saying, look, it means nothing, Murph. You know, it's all, you know, pie in the sky. For me, and it's based on, you know, what I have, I think if you have an NVIDIA GPU, I think the NVIDIA app is just bloatware. Really, right? There's some nice features in it, but you can activate that stuff using other ways. I think the NVIDIA app with the filters, it's just liable to get shagged when they give it an update. I don't bother with it. I don't need it. So my setup, I'm not using the NVIDIA app whatsoever. I have the NVIDIA settings in the control panel. That's what I work off. And if I need to delve in a little bit deeper, which I don't, I can grab NVIDIA Profile Inspector, and then I can edit the actual profile directly from there, right? Now, when it comes to the NVIDIA control panel, what I do, you can go either global settings, it doesn't matter what you're running, these are just the global settings, or you can go for a program setting. And if you're going with a program setting, you'll go and find your sim, or you'll add your sim, pointing it back to the root folder. And there's a couple of things I use in here when it comes to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. And the main ones I use, what was the name of that add-on? We might need it. What was it? Zoom it, was it? Hang on, we'll grab that right now. Zoom it. Which one was it? Diddly dee, diddly dee, diddly 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 dee. There's a new Microsoft tool called Zoom it. I don't see it. Where is it? Or do we have to go into the internet to get it? Zoom it. Okay, how do we grab it? Zoom in, zoom out. Download now. Oh, it's prioritized. Okay. Release. Per user. We shall install the gadget. Craig, good to see you, buddy. Agree, install. And let's see what happens here. Now, how does one use the gadget? So we're looking for the buttons. Is it control 1? Welcome. Right, so we're looking for zoom it. Zoom it. Open settings. Running zoom it through PowerTize and classical standalone next to at the same time. Please exit the original zoom it before enabling it here. Right. So zoom, toggle tray, control on 1. Right, grand. Agree. Thanks. Here we go. Right, brilliant. We'll zoom in. So the settings in which that I'm using, right? How do we can we not move the mouse and do that at the same time now? There we go. So in your Flight Sim 2024 settings, the main ones that you want to use down here is going to, you double click it. Okay, what we're going to look at here, the main ones I go for, and the reason why these are the ones I go for, right? You want to make sure that you have the the power management mode, yeah? Make sure you have it set to maximum performance. It just means that Windows isn't going to, like, you know, ease off the amount of power, because if you have a power profile, it won't give your GPU full whack. Some people will argue, this doesn't work, it's a fad. It works, it's not a fad. Put this on maximum performance. End of story. All right. Some other things that you can do. This depends on what you're using, but for instance, this low latency mode, you can have it on or ultra, right? Cloud Strider, good to see it. You can have low latency mode on to ultra if you like, right? Or on. Basically, it's going to cut out latency between your hardware and the sim. I tend to leave mine off. I've experimented between both. On my rig, I leave it off because it sometimes helps the sim, sometimes it doesn't. And all we're trying to do when it comes to the sim is make sure that we're not getting any stutters and we're not getting any, like, you know, performance issues. That's the objective here. So your GPU is the first key thing that you need to do. You know, Murph, should we uninstall the NVIDIA app, or we can have it and just disable it? I think you need to uninstall it because it's still there. I'd recommend not using the NVIDIA app unless you really want shaders. I wouldn't use the NVIDIA app at all. It creates its own problems, and it did for months when Flight Sim 24 first came out. Do you know? Anti-aliasing, yeah, we can mess with that as well, Roy. Again, I've tested that on both. I let Microsoft do its own anti-aliasing. It seems to do a fairly good job, right? I can override some of the settings here, but again, your mileage will vary. The main thing I do, or the only thing I do as like an entry level, when it comes to your power management mode, make sure you have it on prefer maximum performance. That's for your GPU. That's all you need to worry about here. There's other settings you can go into, like adjusting the video image settings or the color settings. You can use the NVIDIA stuff, or you can go with the video player. Use NVIDIA if you have it. But yeah, I would leave it very much alone and just turn on the maximum performance. All right. Next up, we're going to have a look at is the power options of your PC, right? And to do that, open your Windows menu, go ahead and type in power, and you're going to see this. It says choose a power plan, right? So we can have balanced, ultimate performance, and then if you use something like Process Lasso, you can go ahead and horse in other stuff here as well, all right? You're looking for high performance or ultimate performance. That's what you want, right? So we'll go in here and change the plan settings. This is where you can turn off displays if you wish, right? I don't want my displays turned off. Thanks very much. And if we go back in here, we can go to change advanced power settings. It's going to open up this little window here. And this is where you can get in and take full control over your stuff, right? The likes of your USB settings. You want to make sure that you're telling Windows, don't turn off my stuff to save power for Greta, right? I want my stuff on as long as they possibly can. And these also, it goes the same for your PCI stuff and also your processor power, right? And hard disks. Like you don't want the thing turning off anything, right? AMD Power Slider is there as well, but like, where is this now? AMD Power Slider overlay, best performance, right? If you go into your USB settings, selective suspending, you want to make sure that that's disabled, right? If you have an OLED monitor, I'd recommend having the monitor turn off after a while. The TV is going to override that Energizer. The TV will override that. So you don't need Windows, you know, thinking about how long it needs to turn off your display. You know what I mean? So when it comes to all your USBs, you do not want to have selective suspending. Turn that off. Disable that. That's important, right? And there's more we need to do on this. The other ones I use in here, of course, would be your wireless adapter settings. Maximum performance is what you want. Basically, you want everything in Windows to be ultimate performance. Just make sure it's not turning off stuff. All right? Right. Grand. Other things then we do, if you go into your device manager, and as I said, these are all going to vary depending on what you're doing, right? In your device manager, you're going to get a list of all the different components of your computer, right? Your audio, your cameras, you know, display adapters, all that sort of cool stuff. What I recommend, we're going to go in and have a look at the network adapters, right? And then we're going to go into the sound, video, and game controllers, right? Hayden, good to see you, buddy. So what we're going to look at here, if you go into our network adapters, right? This is going to show you your Ethernet ports if you're running on Wi-Fi. And again, the sim, anything computer related, you don't necessarily want to be running it on Wi-Fi if you have the option to run it over Ethernet. Always use Ethernet. It's more stable. It doesn't give you any issues. Keep the thing wired if you can. If you can't, Wi-Fi is grand. When it comes to it, if you look at the different controllers that you have, depending on what your PC can do, right? Oh, Isnor Callie is here. Good to see you, Callie. Welcome in, Raiders. Who else come in? Angry Ginge, welcome aboard. Welcome in, guys. Hope you had an awesome stream. We're here doing some flight simulator settings to see if we can learn something. But I hope you had an awesome stream, buddy. Welcome in. If you look at your family controllers, effectively, these are your network controllers. If you have, 2.5 gig or 5 gig or whatever plugged in. If you go into the properties of these controllers, go into power management, go into the power management tab, right? Mrs. Poops is here. Good to see you. Let me see. Just welcome aboard. Thank you for the follow. You do not want your computer to turn this device off to save power. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Right? And do the same on maybe you have a 2.5 gig controller. Never let your computer turn this stuff off. Sometimes it's set to on, and when the computer says, he's not really using this, I'll go ahead and turn it off. It's an absolute pain. You just don't want that at all, right? So where's this one now? Wi-Fi network adapter. I don't really use Wi-Fi in this, but see the way allow computer to turn it off to save power? No, absolutely not. Do not allow your computer to turn that stuff off. You don't need to. So that's on your network adapter side, right? Moving on down, sound and video game controllers. I just turned off high definition audio, right? Keep the zoom on. Yeah, there's no way if I zoom in, how do you edit it? Stupid thing. How can you edit it? Uh-oh, I've shagged it. How can you edit it when it's zoomed in? That's a bit of a naff, isn't it? There is a live view mode. Power setting. Toggle, animate, zoom in, zoom out. Live zoom mode supports Windows updates. You must use control up and control down to control the zoom level. Entering drawing mode, use a standard zoom. Control up. No. No. Oh, Jesus. That zooms it in, which is great gas.
Oh, Jesus.
Right, hang on. We're going to learn this bit of technology together. Mother of Jesus. Hang on. I know. Where's the instructions? Open settings. Live zoom toggle control and 4. Right. Let's try this. Go away, you. Control 4. Aha.
They've
Brilliant.
done studies, 60% of the time it works every time.
We fixed it, lads. It's grand. Right. Come down here now. We're going to look at the sound video game controllers. I've just turned off the high definition stuff because I'm using the friggin' Realtek audio. All right. Now, when it comes to your systems and devices, this is interesting, lads. And shout out to QA Pilot because the Hyper-V virtualization infrastructure, I don't use any of that. And it has been proven by disabling it, not by removing it. But if you disable some of this Hyper-V stuff, unless you're using, virtual stuff, you're not going to need it. So there's a couple of them. The Microsoft Hyper-V virtualization driver, right-click, disable, right? Not uninstall, just disable. Then come on down to your NDIS virtual network adapter enumerator, disable, right? And I found, and there's one more there, I think. I have found using those, 5 or 6 FPS, which is kind of weird, right? So that's what I've turned those off. I've just disabled, and you can always turn them back on. That's the beauty about all of this. But there's a bit of testing that you can do. Your Hyper-V and the virtual network adapter. Another thing I turned off on my system then is also the high precision event timer. A little bit different than what me and Zit were talking about last week. The high precision event timer, I have found that this has made a positive impact if the sim is having any issues allowing timings of programs working in the background. So I disable. It's just disable. All right. And then last but not least, we'll zoom out here. Your universal bus controllers, basically your USBs. All of these guys, you right click, you go to properties, power management, and make sure your computer cannot turn off this stuff. Make sure that box is unchecked, right? Because you don't want the computer going along turning off all your drives and turning off all your USBs. That's where the problems start to happen, all right? This is just some very, very basic Windows settings, right? So outside of the device, the last one, we're going to go in and have a look at game mode settings, right? Now, game mode settings, basically what this is, what Windows have built with their game mode settings, this will say, right, it's going to turn off background applications and push more resources to whatever game it is that you're playing. Now, in theory, this should be working very well for Microsoft Flight Sim. It depends on what your system is. For me, game mode on isn't giving me the best performance. I'm getting better performance with game mode off. Check your setup, try, have a look, see what it is, turn it off, test the sim again and see how stable it is and see what your performance is. It's going to vary based on your own machine, right? Now, it could be interesting, in fact, since I haven't updated that since Sim Update 3, so we'll turn it on and see what happens, right? There's another thing you can do as well. If you go into graphics and we go into advanced graphics, HAGS, hardware accelerated GPU scheduling. I recommend this is turned on in Flight Sim 2024. If you're on Flight Sim 2020 and you're using DX11, you can turn it off, right? It doesn't like this with DX12 at all, but your HAGS on is fine. I'd leave that on, all right? And that should keep you fairly going there. So, what else you want to do? That's power, that's graphics, background processes. So, what do we mean by background processes? On your PC, Windows has a terrible habit of flooding it with a whole load of stuff, right? Mainly it comes to like, you know, OneDrive, right? Virus scanning, all this stuff, your Windows indexing programs, they're all running in the background. Now you can kind of jump into them and see what they're doing. If you open your task manager, you can see what processes are running. You can kind of see then what your CPU is doing, what's running in the background, and all this sort of stuff, right? And you can go into your performance and get even a closer look to see, well, how is everything behaving? You'll find very quickly by using your task manager what is using all of your PC resources, right? And you can go in and turn that stuff off. HAGS is required for frame gen. Yeah, I think it was for DX12 as well, though, because I know I can have frame gen on in 2020 with HAGS off, but I can't use it in DX12. I think. Anyway, you'll find what is using up all of your resources here from your CPU. Your GPU, it should be almost on idle if it's doing nothing, right? In which this case it is. So you want to make sure that your OneDrive, Dropbox, you know, Google Drive, turn all of that stuff off when you're going to go flight simming. Just turn it off. You don't want that. You don't want that stuff going on in the background. All right. There's other things you can get into as well. And for our Patreon friends, I did the yoke over on Patreon. Shameless plug, Murphy. Had I a button for Patreon? Jesus, I do. Look. Over on Patreon, it's like a little program that I built, right? It's a script. And basically what this does, when I press a little button, right? A script will launch. Do you want to allow this app to take control? Yes. What this is doing, it's using PowerShell. And what this does, it turns off Windows Defender and it turns off the Windows Search Indexer. I have found this to bring more stability and also better performance to my sim. Right. But you can mess around with that. You can read up on it. You know, can I disable? Can I put, you know, open your firewall, make sure Microsoft Flight Sim has access to everything it needs. But don't just stop there. Any other app that's communicating with your simulator, be it your Navigraph, be it, you know, ATC, anything that's communicating with your simulator, make sure that that can get through the firewall as well. And make sure that they're all on the same speed hard drive, the fastest hard drive. Because you're only as strong as your weakest or slowest add-on, right? So that's where that comes from. There's other things you can do as well. You can go into Windows and edit the visual effects. If you are finding the resources, all the little fancy transitions and stuff, you know, you can turn all that stuff down if you wish, right? Which is handy. And then I'm not going to bother with it now. We'll look at it some other day. The memory integrity, core isolation, you can turn that off, and your processor stuff. But on the 9800, I've never need to go near it. It just runs without it. All right. So they're kind of the main things we can do. But certainly when it comes to the background stuff, Windows updates, make sure they're paused before you launch into a flight sim session as well, right? And then, you know, other things that you don't want running in the background, go down to the bottom right-hand corner, see what apps are running, and if you don't need them, close them off. Kind of makes sense, but that's what we need to do, right? So what we're going to do, let's fire up the sim. Now, you could say, Murph, do we go admin mode? No, you shouldn't. Just run the sim as is, and then it should fire up. Now, we're now using game mode, so this is going to be interesting. But we're going to transition now into... whatchamacallit, we're going to be using our sim settings. We're going to have a look at all the settings, right? And here are all my settings. I'll horse them over here so I can read off the list. So where is this now? Is it here? Another thing before we go, when everything's installed, there is a extremely handy automated tool, and it is the cache removal tool. And we don't mean caches in your money. This is a cache removal tool that when I had to set up, you know, back in the day when you had to do all this manually, you had to go looking into all the NVIDIA cache files and delete stuff. Well, thankfully now we have this. And basically what you do, you download it. It's a little batch file, so it's a little icon that lives in your desktop. And then if you ever want to clear out all the cache, the DX cache, the NVIDIA cache, GL, DX, basically it's all the backup files that your graphics card is using. It works well to delete them, right? And the reason being is, if you find that you're getting stutters or the sim is jittery and jumpy, delete the cache. It brings a lot of fixes. Some folks have reported even getting massive FPS boosts with that. So if I can, how do we do this now? Close tab. No, I want to copy. I want to copy this. That's the link. Grab it. The program where it lives, I'll probably find it on my desktop, right? So go to desktop, and it's called. What's it called? Cache removal tool. It's a little Windows batch file. If I double click this gadget opens and it says initializing and preparing, cleaning NVIDIA cache, done. Cleaning the DX cache, done. It's automatic. It's a script. It runs, and when it's finished, it'll say thanks very much. Press a button. Done. And it's now deleted all that crap out of the way. And it's quite safe to do that. Quite safe to do that. This would be interesting now. We've loaded the sim with game mode turned on, and it's now hanging on 25%. That's interesting. Now it's alive. This wild flight sim is my cache removal tool. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. But that's really handy to do if you're experiencing stutters and just messes. Like, why is my sim running like dog? Like, use that before it. Have the sim turned off, obviously. Because the file, all the cache files that the sim needs, it's locked them, so you can't remove them. Turn off the sim, and then you can do it. All right. I technically run something like that once a week. Every week, I better clear the cache. I just do it to try and stay on top of what it is we're doing. Right. So that was that gadget. Next up, friends, we're going to go in and look at the owl settings of the sim. Right. Now, where have I got this? Here it is. So we're going to start and looking at the in-sim settings. Game mode is now on, Matt. So we'll see what this does, right? We'll see what this does. So we'll load in a flight. We'll stick with the TBM, right? And what I do, when I'm trying to test the performance of my sim, I will go to a resource monster. Somewhere that you know it's going to be busy, it's going to be hard to render. You know, there's mountains, there's weather, there's busy airports, all that sort of stuff, right? Dublin tends to be a great tester because Dublin historically has always been very heavy on frames. LAX is probably one of them. New York is another, right? San Francisco, anywhere up that neck of the woods, right? Now, I don't know, do I have LAX installed? This would be an interesting point here if we do. Let's see if we have custom scenery. I hope we do. There's aircraft loading in, so it's looking good. Yeah, that looks custom. All right. So let's go in and start testing things. Where's the FBO? Here it is. Now we're going to do all our settings and stuff in a couple of moments once we get in there, right? And we'll see what happens. Now, bearing in mind, this is with game mode turned on, so I'm expecting to see a slight drop in performance here. But we'll soon find out, right? We'll soon find out. So we're going to go through now all of the settings available to us in the sim, and where I think is a good starting point and where we can kind of build it on from there. All right. Hey, Otak, good to see you, buddy. Welcome in. All right, so this is quite heavy. I can hear it because the audio is clicking. Now that's a bug with Microsoft. They know it's a bug, so they need to fix it, right? So let's jump into the plane. Now, bearing in mind, everything's in a cold and dark state. Avionics aren't running. So we're going to see what we can start doing here. All right. Now, if you want to, like, you can, like, I'm using, oh, Jesus. Look at that. I can barely load it. Do you hear all that clicking? That's interesting. Right, what we want to do here... Oh, the sim is on... It's running like dog crap. I wonder, is that because of game mode? Well, let's try this again. Let's just see. Back to our desktop, turn off game mode, and let's see. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We'll soon find out. Okay, so game mode. Game mode settings. Game mode off. Right. And let me see here now. Let's fire up the sim when it's ready to start. It's not quite ready yet. Processes. Kill the sim. Total memory hike. Right, we'll try it again. Norse Viking, good to see you, buddy. Let's see what happens here now. Game mode was just not like an LAX. And even now, like if we load back in and it's still crap, well, our objective now is not to make it crap anymore. So I'm going to show you what we can do, what tools we can utilize by doing it. Now I'm using FrameGen. We can turn all that stuff off because in theory, when you're not using FrameGen and you have the sim tuned without frame generation to be at an acceptable level, when you turn on FrameGen, the world goes absolutely great. All right. So we're going to have a look at that here now in a moment. Doesn't keep you away from, you know, third-party issues like WASM crashes. We can't fix that stuff. But in terms of like general performance, how it's all working, we absolutely can. All right. Also, we'll go into the settings here as well. You have a local cache, right? So your local cache is like your scenery cache file. It's where it downloads all the stuff from the internet, keeps it local. The idea being it doesn't need to pull back in all the data as quick, and it should mean faster scenery loading and all the jazz. There are different sizes in which we can utilize. Now, I've been experimenting with this for a while, and I have found that if I go into local cache, I have found that I think it's 64 gigs I've mine set to rolling cache, right? And which, depending on what sort of room you have, right, if you can throw 64 gigs of hard drive space. And again, make sure your rolling cache is on the same fast hard drive. If you're using a slow hard drive for your scenery cache, and then all of a sudden you're wondering, why is my sim not loading right? That's the reason, right? And it's amazing because it's so easy to do that. You're looking at your, oh no, I've loads of room on that hard drive. Yeah, I'll dump all that over there. You know what I mean? It's even better if you have another fast drive to put it on. Yeah. Shut said, you did delete all the DX cache stuff while the sim was loading before. Yeah. It only deleted what the sim wasn't using though. You know what I mean? So game mode is turned off. Let's see what it does. Let's see what it does. That's still too slow. So I imagine there's stuff that I have installed that's possibly taking its time. Maybe. There she goes. I don't know why it takes like sometimes your loading speed can be like rocket fast, other times it's a couple of minutes. Weird, right? Anyway, we'll jump back in and let's see how it all behaves when we get back into LAX. And if it's still running quite bad, we can tweak it back, right? How many sim objects are your sim initially loading in? Anywhere between 1400 and 1800. It depends on what I have in community folders and so on. Do you know? Cache removal tool, Clipper Gripper. Thanks for that. Yeah, no, it's great. Like the you know, it was made by the community for the community, and yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. It works. It just works. Right, so let everything kind of warm up and do its stuff here now. That's just a bug they introduced with the sim. It pauses for a few seconds when you jump in. We're going to horse ourselves back over to LAX. And, well, let's see what we can do here. In you go, you big Jesse. And we want to go to the FBO again, which was here. Now let's have a look at our options. Custom. Time of day is grand. We'll go with live weather. Right. Let's see what happens this time. It's not liking it at all. It's doing all sorts of loading. It is loading. That's the good thing. But let's see what happens. So I think when the PC is being pushed very hard, it kind of suffers a bit. It kind of suffers a bit loading in these big massive sceneries. Right, ready to fly. Right, sit us in. The Toby eye has turned off. Need you on. Sometimes Toby just turns off. Weird. And I've checked the hub to make sure that there's power in it. I'd say we'll get a CTD here, you know that? Okay, life is not good here in the rig. What's happening? We're getting 100% utilization here. Task manager, why are you using so much? So flight sim is using its normal 50%. That's about right. Toby is working. Grand, reset you. All right, so we'll start off the outside. And let's see what it can do when it starts loading things in. It's under savage pressure here, look. So here's an issue, right? Here is an issue. It's starting to kind of calm itself down now. There's photogrammetry, there's all sorts of jazz. And again, it's building that scenery cache. Process loss, no, I've turned that off. That causes more harm than good ROI, 1,000,000%, you know. Voyaging, yes it is. Why is the LAX sign there? No idea. I could have two sceneries running here. Let's find out. Let's go down to the control tower. Because if this doesn't look right, that'll be an indication that we have two sceneries running. But that looks okay to me, doesn't it? That look okay to you? Does that look normal? Looks normal. Yeah, it looks normal. Alright. Let's go back across the way and let's see what's happening over here. Where's my airplane? There it is. So you have an LAX sign here as well, because you're down with the FPOs, yeah? So what we're going to do, even though I'm using frame gen, we're going to go into the developer mode, right? Settings, we're going to go down to advanced and we're going to open up our developer mode, all right? And we'll save that and we'll go resume. And what we're going to use in here, lads, this is how we do it. We're going to go into the debug area and we're going to display the FPS. Now you can see that the native speed of the sim right now, right? We're getting about 50 FPS and we're getting limited by the main thread. Limited by main thread on a 5090. Dedicated VRAM is 31.35 gigs. So it's under savage pressure. All right, how do we start fixing this? Well, we're going to go into the settings, right? So let's see, can we turn stuff down and then we'll bring it back to life again. So frame gen, we're going to start turning off some stuff here, right? Anti-aliasing, we're using DLSS, right? Let's put it to TAA. Frame gen, we're going to turn it off, right? And if we then go into our global rendering, this is where we can start calming things down. And even the settings you can see, right? So terrain level of detail, bring it down to 100. Everything there is pretty much on ultra. Bring this guy to, call it 100. Volumetric clouds, bring it up. Texture resolution, I've dropped it from ultra to high. There is nothing in the difference. What else do we have here? High, ultra, high, ultra, characters I leave off, load of crap. Parked aircraft, leave it off, ultra, and then road traffic. You can put these on ultra, I'd never bother. Road traffic, sea traffic, and fauna, I would never ever leave them there, right? So we're going to save that and we're going to resume. And then we let it kind of calm down for a second. So you can see now we've given ourselves an extra 15-ish, right? 10 to 15 FPS using TAA, right? We're almost getting 60 FPS here. Now, FPS is one thing. It's how smooth the simulator is another, right? But this is the ticket. If you get this part set up correctly, right? Well, then the rest of it becomes very, very easy. So you can see it's not as smooth as it was, right? It's not too bad, but it's nowhere near as smooth as I wanted to have it, all right? And remember, frame gen is off, right? Frame gen is off. All right, back into the settings we go. And let's see what else we can tweak. So exposure, that's all grand. Max frame rate, leave that alone. Frame gen, we left it off. Back down here. Displacement mapping, huge impact if you turn this off. All right. Default setting for developer mode silently disables some graphics features like frame gen and HDR. The specific feature that disables them is dev mode options smart docking. Mombi says, I don't know if you covered this. and it's not well known, but the default setting for developer mode silently disabled some graphics features like frame gen and HDR. The specific feature that disables them is in the dev mode options smart docking. It's turned on. What if we turned that off, Ombi? Don't know what that does. I'm not quite sure what it does. Interesting. Anyway, we'll go back to turning that stuff on now in a second. We have other options here, right? So we were saying render scaling, yeah. AMD fidelity, leave that alone. So if we start having a look at things here and what really makes the difference. Your terrain level of detail, that's one of the biggest FPS hits you're going to get, right? Ah, gotcha. Okay. Cheers, Zombie. Terrain level of detail, that's the main one. That is your number one slider that you go for if you're experiencing, you know, bad performance, jitters, and all this sort of stuff. 100 is probably a little bit low, right? But minimum, I keep it 100. On this, you know, we can probably push it up the road, maybe to about 250. Let's leave it at 250. You'll see things react here now, but we'll get to that in a moment. Trees, plants, rocks, and grass. There's very little, and buildings. There's nothing between this and ultra and high. Tiny amounts. So maybe bring that down into high, right? Turn off dev mode overlay, dev mode on, display FPS, dev mode off. Yeah, no, I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there for the minute. It's fine. It doesn't matter what we're doing here. All we're trying to do is kind of tune our simulator, and then we can turn stuff back on, right? Objects level of detail, that's how many bits and bobs they put onto objects, like buildings, like just mainly buildings, right? It's the objects level of detail, how far you can see things away and how much detail we're going to put on them. So I tend to keep mine at around 150. We can go full hog as well, but it's overkill. 150 it's about right for me. Volumetric clouds, high or ultra is fine. High is probably fine. Water waves, can't do much with that. Shadow maps, depending on your GPU, they will impact. So drop your shadows. That was always the old rule. If you're suffering, drop the shadows, right? Ray trace shadows, if you're on the older cards, I would just disable it, right? You won't see the difference. You really won't see the difference, right? And you can override this sort of jazz when it comes to, you know, reshade and stuff, all right? So ray trace shadows, I'll turn it off for the moment. And just with these couple of changes here, right? I've increased my LOD, but I've brought down the buildings, trees, and all that. I've brought up my objects level of detail, but I brought down the clouds and I brought down ray tracing. So let's see what sort of an impact this makes now on the sim. Give it a second here to load. Give it sufficient time to kind of go through all the bits and bobs, right? So it's dropped. We've lost 10. We've lost 10 FPS here. And that's purely down to the LOD. All right, back into the LOD we go. So settings. And we'll go back to our LOD. We're at 250. We had it at 100. Let's go 150 and let's go 100. There's two changes. Let's save, resume. At the sim, it takes a couple of moments, just about 5 or 6 seconds for it to start building things back up again. You can see there's not actually a huge impact there. 5 or 6 FPS, it's not a huge lot, and we're still getting limited by the main thread. All right. More abrupt with it. 150, drop it down to 100. Right. Light shafts, ultra, ambient occlusion, turn you down 1 as well. Contact shadows, turn you down 1. Put them back onto high. Reflections and light shafts onto high. Resume. Give it a few seconds. And she's slowly starting to climb back up there to about 60 frames. All right. So not going too bad. All right. What else can we do? Dynamic settings, I leave them off. I prefer to run this myself. So we turned off the ray march settings. All the other stuff, it's not bad. LOD. Remember that we're using TAA, right? So we'll run this for the moment. And let's just see what the movement is like Is it acceptable? Is it smooth? Because you're going for smoothness. The FPS counter, that's all grand, but you want to make sure that when you're moving, the screen isn't stopping, starting, stopping, starting. That's what you're after. Don't worry too much about FPS. It'll give you an indication of what's running, but it's all about smoothness. Is your sim stopping, pausing? Once you're happy that it's running okay, well, I would say now you're now in a solid state to now turn on the lights of frame gen and all the jazz. So I'm happy enough with that. We're going to come into debug. We're going to turn off the FPS and we're going to exit dev mode, right? And if we open our FPS counter with reshade loading, so I'm getting 60 FPS here now with these settings. And if we move around, things should be nice and clean, no stutters, and just grand. Now we can take the absolute biscuit out of life. And the reason why I'm saying that, if we now jump into the cockpit, transitioning views, yeah, everything's moving where I want it to do. It's not as smooth as I like, but it's not pausing. It's not breaking it, right? It's running well, and I'm still getting about 57 to 60 FPS. Perfect. Right. Let's bring in the big guns. Settings. Now we're going to come back in and we're going to start messing around. Anti-aliasing, we're going to put on DLSS. We're going to go, leave it on quality, I suppose. Max frame gen, or max frame rate, no. Frame gen, we're going to turn it on to NVIDIA's DLSS, right? And we're going to horse the frame rate multiplier up to 3 times. I can go 4 times if I want, but let's just see what this does. We're going to save this, resume, and we're going to sit for a minute. And this is where frame gen takes over. We're now getting 200 FPS, right? But what we'll see here now is it's just incredibly smooth. Like, frame gen is keeping the same fidelity of your sim. It's just making the thing absolutely insanely butterly smooth. And that's a great way to start testing it, especially in an area like LAX. I mean, we can go absolutely bananas here, fly all around the regions. It's butter smooth, man. And it's sitting between 170 and 200 FPS. Perfect. Right. Can we also get more creative when it comes to bringing up some of the sliders? Because the FPS is telling me one story, but it's the smoothness. I want to maintain the smoothness. To me, that's everything. If I'm flying and I see the ground stuttering, immersion is broken, and you're going to like make terrible landings and all this sort of crack, right? So let's get in and do a bit more science here. So that's all grand. That's all grand. Global rendering. Let's bring up the LOD. So we're going to bring you up to about 250. And we're going to bring our objects up to about 150. Just those for the moment and nothing else. Save, resume, and just give it a moment to start thinking about things. Now we can see that we've taken an impact on our FPS, almost 50 FPS. But don't worry about those numbers. Have we still managed to keep the smoothness? And I say, yes, that to me is still butter smooth. It absolutely is. I've no issue here. The LOD is now massive. We can see way off into the distance. And things are good and smooth. Alright? So even though I'm only getting like 130 FPS, which isn't exactly fantastic considering I was up at 200, you're not necessarily there trying to chase FPS. It's the smoothness, yeah? Alright, what else can we do? Oh, that's the wrong one. Settings. What are we using in here? So, that's good. Max frame rate, I wouldn't bother with it. We could go to ×4. Now this kind of, I have a 5090, I mean, I can definitely go ×4. That's bringing us now up to like, Jesus, back up to 220 again. So ×4, this can start introducing some artifacts and some weirdness, but, you know, by and large, it seems to be okay. So now, even with my settings turned on, using 4 times multiplier, your FPS is back, but you're still maintaining that smoothness. Good frame times can save bad FPS. Good FPS can save bad frame times. Yeah, 100%. So, like, again, you're just, like, you'll see the movements. Everything should be just smooth, butter crisp. No issues with moving stuff around. All right? And it could depend on the aircraft you're working on as well. Right, what else can we do? Go back into our settings. The main ones are always going to be your sliders. Anything like your sliders are the main ones, right? Let's put back on our ray trace shadows, right? Shadow maps are grand. Contact shadows, windshield effects, bring them back up. Ambient occlusion, bring it back up. Maybe our clouds will bring them back up as well. Where is this now? Light shafts, cube maps, clouds, Murphy. Clouds. Volumetric clouds, ultra. Right? Let's see what this does. Save it. Resume. Leave us sit for a moment. Bit of a hit on our FPS. Not much. Right? And now as we go moving around, it's still butter smooth. Drops as low as 160. But then it comes back up again. It's just rendering stuff in the distance. Now we really want to give it a workout. Go into some weather stuff, right? And this is where things get fierce interesting. You can have a lot of fun with this stuff. Silly win, Murphy, a big agent. So you start throwing this sort of stuff in, whereby it's no longer just the ground doing the scenery, but it's the sky as well. And you can maintain the smoothness. Don't worry about your FPS. If you're down at 40 FPS, but it's still...
Let's get ready to rumble!
Jesus. If you're a... Good man, Vex.
Oh, Jesus.
If you're now, like, you could be at 40 FPS, but if you're still getting a smooth movement, chase the smoothness. If you're getting that, you're absolutely laughing. You're absolutely laughing. Like, looking at FPS, it really means nothing. You want smoothness in your sim. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's... And, like, we can go higher here. I mean, we can absolutely take the mick out of this now, because we know we have the headroom. We can go down here to our global rendering, and we can increase the LOD. Like, 400 is maxed out. 200. This will definitely put in it. This will put the sim under pressure for sure, right? Little bit jittery, see that? Little bit jittery.
Yeah, baby, yeah.
We're down to 130 FPS. Again, don't care about the FPS. It's all about how smooth things are. Inside the aircraft, little bit jittery, right? It's not as smooth as it was. This is where you're seeing the performance. It's not on, you know, the FPS. It's how smooth everything is. Is everything moving without kind of stopping or pausing, right? This is on the limit. There's a pause coming in every couple of moments. I can see it. We're still not bad. I mean, you can do it, right? But my recommendation would be like 400 LOD, like for what? Like, you don't need that. You know what I mean? So you can see it's not as perfectly smooth as it once was. All right, let's dial it back again. Because that's just too high. Call it 250, which I think is more than enough. We go back to 150. And even 100 and 100, no problem. I let it all kind of calm itself down, and that's just that's butter smooth again. There's no missing frames, there's no dropouts, there's no render issue. That's just loading things in incredibly fast. Like, there's zero impact there. And again, moving in the aircraft, looking around, it's way more responsive. Things are moving faster. So that, to me now, I'm happy. And I've tested it in somewhere like LAX. So the alternative to this, let's end this flight. And let's say now we're going to do a lovely general aviation flight. The sim is trying to load. If we, you know, a lovely, nice general aviation flight in the absolute back end of friggin' nowhere. You know, on down here, for example. Well, wherever you want to fly, wherever you usually fly, right? So, like, jump into Lawrencetown again. We flew here on Monday night. So let's see what the FPS is going to be like up here, lads, right? So we're going to change the time of day, 9 o'clock in the morning. We'll go live weather, because it'll be interesting. And let's load in. Again, it'd be interesting to see what the FPS does, but definitely I want to see the smoothness, right? Let's see what happens here. Okay. Now we need to make sure that our settings are indeed correct, right? So, moving us around. Yep, she's smooth anyway. Let's make sure, because there is a bug. Yeah, we're still on 4 times, which is great. Save. Resume. So we're getting like 230 odd FPS here with the same settings. But again, it should that should be like utterly smooth. And the reason why it's utterly smooth, outside of frame gen and using something like TAA, we brought the sim to an acceptable level whereby we're looking at the smoothness. Once we're happy with that, turn on your frame gen, turn on your multipliers, and then you can bring up the sliders, and it kind of locks everything in then. If we picked bad performance when we were back in TAA mode, that'll transfer when you're doing this. Not necessarily into your FPS counter, but it definitely will transfer when it comes into when you're flying. Now, it may not help, you know, there are bugs in the sim outside of just your controls. When you're approaching an airport, for example, the scenery kind of thinks about life and it's like, hey, wait, what? It does all these sort of things. But by and large, lads, the movement here, it's butterly smooth, like it's how... no, I turned off game mode. Game mode, for me, on my rig, it's better without it, you know? I'd imagine object counts are CPU bound and limited. No, they are. Dendarian, 100% they are. But you can kind of see with the crack here. And like, again, so here, this is where you can mess around with your settings. So, settings. We'll go back to our trees and stuff. Horse them back up the road, right? So, trees, plants, rocks, grass, and buildings, all on ultra. Let them render in, and that's like there's feck all in the difference between high and ultra. Like there's very little, you know, very, very little. Add-on traffic, yes. If you turn it on to the sim, it'll start using it. If you're using traffic injection from SayIntentions, it will use up some of that smoothness, so you want to test that. One thing we can do, we can try SayIntentions. And I'll see, will it inject some scenery in here or some aircraft in here? It might do. It might do. There's an update. Park the update for the minute. And let me go to traffic. Traffic is on. So we'll give it a moment to see what it can do. It might load it. This may or may not work. I don't know if this airport is going to be included. I imagine it will. We'll leave it sit for the moment, because they're working on getting general aviation stuff into the sim as well, you know. But is it Kerry mode? It is, like, it's Kerry Gold smooth. It just is. Like, you can kind of see the LOD now. There's not much we can do with that because, well, is it a limitation of the scenery? Probably. This is an Orbex scenery. Kind of weird looking, isn't it? We may or may not... There we go. There's traffic coming in there now. Yep. No impact. Now, grand, there's only, like, there's 2 planes here, right? But you get the idea. Like, if we go to Dublin now, which we know can be an absolute tank on your FPS, right? But yeah... Testing in somewhere like LAX or even New York. New York, not so much. The reason being is New York is grand because it's full of photogrammetry and it's going to try and load stuff. But there's not many mountains nearby. There's water, okay, but like you need stuff. You know, you need stuff that's going to be really pushing your sim and turn. Like Dublin is great for it. There's mountains, there's water. Dublin has always been heavy on FPS in Flight Simulator. Always heavy, right? So let's see what this does. Custom. Bring the time of day back. The weather wasn't great today. It was kind of mixed clouds, but we'll bring it in and see what happens. Recently started flying commercial flights. I don't know why I haven't done it earlier. Car, DTM, nice. Nice. Jetstar is hard, really. Prison, good to see it. Yeah, you can go DLAA as well. It all depends on what you want to do. TAA is going to be the heaviest. DLLA is a little bit lighter. And it can make things a little bit crispier for you, right? But beyond all of that, you can use the sim to do all of that. Or you can use Reshade to really tighten things up. Right? So it's under pressure loading in Dublin, but again, that's just the scenery index is getting kind of wiped and redone, and we'll see what happens here now. When we jump into our plane, calm everything down. We're getting 150 FPS sat on the ground at Dublin, 160 now. Things are loading up. We have traffic here already from SayIntentions. Back into our options. See the difference? See how heavy Dublin is in comparison? Now, do we have the smoothness though? That's what it's all about. Don't be chasing your FPS. It's all about smoothness. Is that smooth? It's not. Do you know what? That's not as smooth as I want. See the way it's a little bit jittery and jumpy? And we could give it a few moments. No, MK Studios Dublin is not light on the sim. It's not optimized at all. Like the scenery just isn't optimized. It's like, this is Dublin. Look at the impact on the, look at, okay, live weather's on, but like, that's not as smooth as I would prefer. Just isn't. Now again, it's probably loading in the scenery cache. But the airport, MK Studio, like we need another version of Dublin. I'd love for Pyreek to do Dublin or iniBuilds, you know. Now bearing in mind, SayIntentions is running as well. Their traffic can absolutely halt your machine. We have it set to 7. We can put it on to 11 for the crack. That's odd. For the most part, it gets this bang on. We'll go in now. Saying that, SayIntentions needs an update as well. Let me see. Go into here, put it on to 11 and see what happens. Let's give it a moment. Traffic out. Yeah, it was SayIntentions traffic. We were down to the 130s. We're back up to 200. Now I've put this onto 11. This can slow it right down, right? Yeah, the traffic models will impact it as well, 100%. Okay, so here's the traffic back in. A lot more traffic, and do you know what? Just by reloading, it actually made it better, right? So this is the traffic setting 11 with SayIntentions, and like it's filled Dublin. Dublin is now chock-a-block. It's very, very good, lads. And again, like this is 4K, right? I mean, this is pushing the sim to the absolute most that it can do. So we're not looking too bad. Everything's loading up all right. And you'll get pushed back. You know, the whole thing will come alive here now. You'll have aircraft moving around. You know, if we tune in on the frequency, you'll hear the pilots talking. It's all part of SayIntentions AI Living World. It's absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And, you know, if we go to nighttime now, because nighttime will actually put the sim under a bit of pressure as well. A few seconds. You can hear jets start up, moving around. It's doing its stuff, yeah. Pretty cool though, right? So there's an aircraft starting to do a thing here now. Beacon light is on. He is pushing back. So you get the idea, yeah? But again, like, once you set your sim up, and then you want to turn on your frame gen and all this sort of jazz, like, it's absolutely class. Like, it's class. And, you know, with SayIntentions, if we disable that now, go back into 7s. I find 7 to be a great balance. But if we turn off SayIntentions, yeah, the sim just like, oh, it's grand. There's me alerts to say I need to fix stuff, you know. So, they're your simulator settings. Are we happy enough with them? Is there anything else you'd like to go through? Like, to give you a rundown of what each and every little thingy is, lads, right? For instance, right? For instance.
Hello there.
Where is this now? KVX, welcome in. Welcome in. Where is this now? So these are the settings I have. I'll show you this briefly. This is over on our Patreon, right? And they're basically all the settings. What the setting is, what value, and what does it do, and what's the impact, right? So display mode, anti-aliasing, AI-powered upscaling performance, low medium. Don't worry about all of this. Get into the actual stuff in the sim. right? So your graphics, your global rendering quality, your terrain LOD, it draws terrain detail. The impact is absolutely massive. Lower to 200 to 150. We've already done that there now tonight, all right? Off-screen pre-caching, that's an absolute killer on your VRAM. Be careful of that. Keeps the scenery memory loaded when you're looking away. If you're having issues with it, drop it. Drop it to high. If your off-screen pre-caching is on ultra, that's using a lot of your VRAM. Just be aware of that. Displacement mapping, moderate. Buildings, trees, plants, they're all medium impact. Where is this now? Objects LOD is high. Volumetric clouds is very high. Right, so if you've loads of clouds, drop it down a notch. Texture resolution is the biggest, one of the biggest on your VRAM as well. All right, I keep mine on high. There's very little difference between them. Ray trace shadows, very high. Ray tracing is a huge impact on your sim. Very high means high performance impact. High is bad, low is good. Yeah. Real time mirror like, so your ray march reflections. Medium saves about 3 to 5 FPS. Medium low, CPU intensive would be your glass cockpit refresh rate. Right? Air traffic is very high on your CPU. And then we get into VR settings and so on and so on and so on. There's a whole load of information there. That's over on Patreon, but it goes a little bit deeper than what we have here. But it's just to give an idea, right? Just to give an idea. Now, the last thing we said we'll try and look at, this here is ChatGPT, right? And what I want to do is, can we build a PowerShell script that can open each of our clients, check for updates, closes after the sync, and then we need, how do we do this? So, ChatGPT, lads. Now, I'm seeing too much of it in content creation. There's videos being made entirely by AI. People are scripting entirely by AI. They're being lazy feckers. Like, it's a great tool to help support you. It's not there to replace your workload. And I'm seeing far many people, AI, and like every single thing you see. This isn't just a deep dive. This is it's all shy. I don't want to hear about it. AI, it's there. It's designed to assist you. But there's people who are just like, no, AI does everything. It's great. It's not, right? But anyway, when it comes to this can be very helpful. What we want AI to do, or what the assistance that we want AI to do, and this is very powerful. I like using ChatGPT. I think it's great. What I'm looking for here is, look, I'm saying, I want to build a PowerShell script that'll open up each client, be it Orbex, Contrail, Navigraph, Add-ons, Linker, and so on, right? I want it to check for updates, and then afterwards, I want it to close after the script. All right, well, how's it going to do? We're going to make so ChatGPT will explain to you how you're going to do things. How to find the exact exe path. Allow PowerShell scripts. They know how to do that. Do a test run. So you can see it breaks it down step by step by step how we can do all of these things. Right? This could be handy. The script I've already made, which is this gadget, this was a script. And what this does, I have a button on my Stream Deck. This turns off the Windows indexing search in the background, and it turns off Windows real-time scanning. And that's a huge performance boost. On my system, it's a huge performance boost, right? So I use that quite a bit. This one here is, wouldn't it be handy if we built a button that would, you press it once, or you double-click the file icon, and it goes off and updates all your aircraft everywhere. Well, you kind of can't do that. Now, if you don't want to start with, something that extreme, well, we can do something a little bit easier, right? We can set something up a lot easier. In terms of coding, because you're using PowerShell, I find AI is actually quite good at doing this. If it makes a mess of it, you just tell it it's not working. Can you fix it? Right? It can do quite a lot of that. And you're doing it in such a way... you can do it in such a way that it can learn from what you're doing, so it knows your level of competency and experience, but it also then figures out kind of where everything's set up, right? So this would be a fairly high one. If we wanted to do something else, like what else could we use AI for? AI is good for helping us out in certain things, but there's a download where you can list each client, its exe path, and how long to wait. Then we can download update FS clients, the PowerShell script that opens each app, waits while it auto checks for update sync, then closes gracefully. Now, I'm not mad about using these so far because, well, I don't know what's in them, right? But the step-by-step is this. It's telling us what to do. Beginner friendly. All right, well, we're going to make a folder. We're going to create a folder called scripts FS clients. Put both downloaded files into that folder. Then we're going to edit the app's JSON file. All right. And basically, we're just going to put in, well, where is your stuff installed? It's looking for the exe files, right? All right. So Orbex, Contrail, Navigraph, and so on. How do we find the exact path? It's going to tell us. You can also add in, wait a few seconds for the app so we can check for updates. Windows title match is fine. Any arguments are fine. Allow the PowerShell script. So we want it to say yes. Test run it, where it'll update it. It'll open up, launch the app, waits the configured number of seconds, tries to close it gracefully as if you clicked on X, and if that fails, it'll force close it. And then you run it automatically. But what I'm trying to show you here is, we probably don't have time to build this tonight, but like, what I'm trying to show you, you can use, or you can utilize AI to support what you're doing in your flight sim, right? And that could be, you know, that file we looked at that deletes all the DX cache, and like, that's one of these. That's what it is, right? Now, I don't know the developer. Maybe he wrote it from scratch. But if I wanted to make something similar, I could do it using something like ChatGPT, right? And I'm only saying that's the only one I'm familiar with. There's hundreds. There's loads of these different ChatGPT things there. But what we can do, I don't know, an idea that could be handy in your flight sim when you turn everything on. Simple task. Okay, this is how you talk to GPT, right? What good is it to update the Orbex app or the Navigraph Hub app? It's the stuff inside those apps you want updated. True, but for instance, Gibbo, when you open up Orbex, right? When it loads, after I think 30 seconds, it'll populate its own little box up here to say the following available updates, right? And then the command will just say when that gets data, click update, and it updates everything that requires an update. You know what I mean? Same with Navigraph. You're effectively going to tell the script, hey, when information comes up here, you need to update that for me. Do you know what I mean? Limbix, good to see you, buddy. So this little download box up here, usually after 30 seconds, because that's what it does. When the program starts, it's going off now to say, hey, do I have any updates? And when it pops it in there, it'll show you that you'll get a notification to say there are updates available. You know? So I reckon we could do that. With Orbex, it will show it will show a notification if there are updates. However, I need to manually select each one. How can we automate this? Let's see what it says. Thinking longer for a better answer. This is brilliant. Because I reckon you probably could tie in something there. Imagine if we break the internet. This would be hilarious. I always load those apps every so often just to see if there's a new update. Yeah. There usually is. Like, what are the main stores? I mean, Contrail and SimMarket, they have almost daily updates. You know what I mean? Short answer, there's no public command line for update all in Orbex, so we can't truly automate it, but Central does have an auto update setting that will silently update installed products if the app is open. We're learning. So the simplest reliable path is do this once in Orbex Central. Open up Orbex, go to settings, downloader, enable auto updates, and optionally start with Windows, stay signed in, then let the script handle the rest. So it's not necessarily it's not a bulletproof solution, as Gibbo's saying, but there is an option to do it. That's kind of cool. Options. Check for updates. So we're saying auto updates. Enable auto updates. There you go. So they're automatic updates. Downloader. Check space. Automatically back up. Solid state high. Gracefully fail downloading. I don't know what that does. So there's possibly a way around it, you know? Oh, Roy, if we had the Skunkcraft updater for X-Plane in Microsoft Flight Sim, it will be deadly. If they would just stop making their own launchers for stuff, that'd be great. Yeah, I agree, lads. It's one of the most frustrating things there is. You have to open up everyone else's app to update stuff, and you always forget one. You'll always forget one. There's no central kind of area that you can say, hey, I need to get every single update for every single add-on that I have, one click of a button. But maybe using something like a script could help, right? For instance, okay, this is way too much confusing. Tell you what, I want a simple reminder to pop up on the screen to tell me to update all my stuff. Right? Not to be nice and always give you a nice answer. Nah, not at all. Got it. Every day at 1800, your reminder will pop up telling you update Orbrex Navigraph add-ons linker. Turn on desktop notifications. There you go. Done. Done. I want this as a batch file, so a window opens and I have to close it. Even if the used Windows notifications when a new update for your purchase was available, it would be nice to be told rather than having to manually do it. Click the notification and it brings you to the app where you could click the update. How hard would that be? Yeah. This URL not found. 404. Good to see you, buddy. He says you could create a PowerShell script that will open all the launchers before launching Microsoft Flight Sim. Only once each of those launchers is closed, then the sim will launch. That is a super easy solution, and it works well. That, you know what? That works really well. And why? If you want to fire up the sim, it'll open up everything first. You got to close everything, so you're now seeing, oh, there's an updater here, right? That's a good idea. It's so, what's the word that Rambag always said to me? It's so janky, right? But it works. You know, open task scheduler, create a basic task, name, update, daily, action, start program, replace the path with wherever you saved it.
Hello
Properties, set run only when user is logged in. That's it. When it pops, do your updates, press the key to close the window. So we can actually like horse that in there. It's pretty cool, isn't it? That's pretty cool. Okay, we can do other things. Okay, wait, that would be a data source, wouldn't it? I use PowerShell daily. I use it for work. Ooh, nice. Hey, Drumma is here. Good to see you, buddy. What else could be handy for Flight Sim? Okay, well, like, how can Flight Sim help us out so far as what we're doing and connecting? Yeah, you can create scheduled tasks and all that. Yeah. I've some bits and pieces kind of loaded in, but I'm trying to think, like, what's the best way to do this that's going to, you know, well, you can create a game mode profile. Can I create a game mode profile that will turn off background stuff that's not needed and make sure that all my settings are on max performance? The Maverick Mike, good to see you, buddy. So yeah, you can have a game mode profile on Windows so that when you're simming or streaming, the PC shuts down all the background clutter and switches to maximum performance. And it's all just using PowerShell stuff. Batch files are so 1990s, yeah, but they work. They do work. You get the idea, though. Quick launch of the sim, pause at 2 seconds, then loads in SPAD, another 2 seconds. Yeah. But this is the idea you have. Okay, right. End of conversation on this topic. Moving on. I'm sat here in a TBM 850 at Dublin. Can you provide a realistic checklist for this aircraft from Dar or Socata? Make sure it's accurate. Let's see what this does. An AI agent, I think, would be best to do this. Possibly. TBM 850 normal procedures. So where did I get this from? Okay, but it's getting it from... It's showing the source. Look at that. Pre-flight, engine start. That's handy, isn't it? If you like, convert this to a printable one page or adapt it into a clickable in-sim toolbar checklist. Like, I can do all of these things. But that's what I'm trying to... Like, the point that I'm making is, lads, there is definitely the use for AI. It's absolutely... Like, people are taking the piss. Like, when you see, this isn't just a video, this is a deep dive. Like, they're using AI to do everything, and they're sitting back. AI is great if you want to help kind of guide you, or you have the ideas and you don't know how to figure out what you're doing, right? And you can talk to it like a complete and utter jackass. I talk to it like I'm me, right? And it knows what I'm trying to say. There are many things that AI can do that will enhance your flight sim experience, be it from, making sure certain things on your computer is running right, maybe setting reminders, setting up automatic tasks, setting up setting up things like, checklists, maybe, right? It's kind of mad. I never wanted to like AI, but now I use it daily at work. It's very useful. Yeah, it's a good tool when you know what you're at. There's just handy ways around this to help with what you're trying to do in your flight sim, I think it's well worth a watch. And when it comes to installing flight sims these days, even looking for advice on, what are the best settings I should be using, or how can I maintain high FPS?
Jesus.
Right? There's a lot of helpful things, like, and you don't have to read it verbatim, but like, there's a lot of helpful things there that will hopefully help you. It'll be effective. Craig, yeah, of course you could, bud. Of course you could. You can set up a script that whereby, when it loads up the sim, you can have a little batch file to say, right, what I want you to do when I click this button, open up Navigraph, open up vPilot, clear the cache, and then go in and fire up the sim, and all that's done. You absolutely can. It'd be interesting to get your guys' thoughts on what you've managed to build with AI or with scripting to automate or give better control over certain things that your computers do. That'd be very interesting. I'd love to see that, be it in the comments on the VOD here or over on our Discord. Because like that cache removal tool, dead handy. Dead handy. And if there is a way, that we can get a simple solution for being able to see if, add-ons need updates. Like, because it's so manual. It's like, oh, I need to open this gadget. I need to press... Like, it's a pain in the ass, man. As I said, like, you open up Skunkcrafts on X-Plane, Skunkcrafts Updater. It's an application. It reads every single shagging file that you have, check for available updates, and it'll tell you, yes, there's a file missing or it needs to be repaired, or yes, you're missing a file, or yes, no, you're grand. All your files are up to date. Brilliant. And that's over on X-Plane. Fix me Concorde, update, repair, boom, done. Next. We need something like this in Microsoft Flight Sim. We just do. And you can argue the toss, well, the marketplace has all of this. But it does. But unfortunately, the vast majority of the add-ons live outside of the marketplace. You know what I mean? So that is what it is. The last thing then what I'd say is, when it comes to your rolling cache, I would, from time to time, delete the devil. I've mine set to 64 gigs. I'm finding that to be quite good. And from time to time, I will delete the rolling cache, and it helps with getting rid of any abnormalities with abnormalities with stuff, scenery, and the like. You know what I mean? Turn this stuff back down again. Dublin is so heavy on frames. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Absolutely ridiculous. What else do you want to bring down here? Ambient occlusion, bring it down one. Glass cockpit, that's grand, that's grand. Your mileage will vary, but as I said, I think the best way to do it, outside of your frame gen and all that jazz, load in the sim, stick it onto TAA, frame gen off, and don't worry about the FPS too much. Smoothness. If you can get the gadget smooth, well then you're doing everything right. If the thing is smooth and everything's moving the way you want it to move, well then you're winning. Know what I mean? Works for so many games, but you need someone from Microsoft to make yeah, 100%. Doesn't Contrail allow you to connect to a few different third-party devs? It does to an extent. Yeah. I created a course for creating sceneries for Microsoft Flight Sim with Blender. Create a clickable PDF, ChatGPT. Yeah. Like there's great things that we can do in ChatGPT, be it like checklists or you know, if any of the courses that I do, I look to ChatGPT to help me structure them, right? So like, okay, well, this is the information that I have, but how do I try and break it down? I want to start at this point and get to this point, and these are the things that are very important that I need to talk about. You feed that into ChatGPT, it gives you a fairly decent structure. Then at least you can get in and move things around, and you know, it gives you some clangers as well. Like, never trust the thing. Always use it as an aid. It's there to assist, not to do. It's not like it's not going to do the stuff for you. It'll assist you in what you're doing, and you can learn from it as well. It's quite good. And as I said, that's only one of them. There's loads of these AI stuff, AI clients and all this jazz now. You know what I mean? But alas, lads, that's going to do it for tonight. We covered a fair bit of ground there. I hope you found this helpful with sim settings, window settings, and getting your sim up and running and where you want it to be. Like, there's an awful lot more when it comes to you know, hardware controls. Like, I have a button on my joystick, for example. I click that, it brings me back into the cockpit. But I think when it comes to your own controls, I think everyone has their own preferences, right? I think having a button on a joystick, if you have a joystick or a yoke, you have a button that no matter what happens, you could be anywhere in a camera. You click that button and it defaults straight back to your main pilot view. That is handy. So I'd recommend you do something like that. That's just handy to have. Or you can push it on a stream deck, right? I don't think it works though going from drone mode. If you're in drone mode, you're shagged. But if you're in external view, you know, click of a button and you're back in. Fierce handy, you know? But anyway, I hope you found it helpful. There's topics here we can probably talk until the cows come home. There's so much more in terms of, you know, Windows settings, other software we can look at, like Process Lasso and all this, but also the sim settings and even the aircraft settings specific to certain aircraft as well. There's quite a lot in this. But as a rule of thumb, set your sim up in a very busy environment. FPS is an indicator. Smoothness is what you're after. And then turn on your frame gen and go bananas and have the crack and all this sort of stuff as well. And as I say, the likes of that cache removal tool, very, very handy. You know, very, very handy. So we shall see. We're back to you tomorrow at 10:00 Zulu, 11 o'clock in the morning local time, and we're going to be flying in the Avro RJ, newly updated, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. And we'll do some flyage, and then tomorrow night we have our Vatson flight as we depart out of Orlando. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So lads, thank you as always for tuning in. The support tonight, we had a level 7 hype train. It was absolutely friggin' nuts, and thank you all very, very much indeed. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a lovely evening, and until then, you take care. Neil Mayagut. What do you mean the two wands? They were professional pilots who were sharing their expertise and experience about what it's like to fly whilst wearing tight clothing. Two things I just can't do. No. Don't fire the milk at me. The cows will go nuts. They'll cry in the fields. What a waste! Cow juice. Look at this big Jesus. They're giving out to me here now. Thanks. Yeah, and also thanks. Yeah, Jesus. Oh, we've got a gun sight. This is a beta, so I'm not too worried. It looks great though, doesn't it? Listen to this. Did you hear that bang? Did you? How do we fix this? Right, don't panic. Think about it now, right? I'll sing it for you. Everybody's looking at my tight pants. He's got his tight pants. He's got his tight pants on. I'm actually not wearing tight pants at all. No, they're loosey-gooseys. Do you know, they're the in-house joggings or yoggings. I think it's a soft J. They're the in-house yoggings.